This is Bits, a co-host with WX8BK's Night Train broadcast. We're on Twitter Tuesday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern, where myself and One Wheel Willie interview interesting artists and people from the Web3 world and everything in between. Studio Brooke is an accomplished photographer who has an amazing career. She's a funny and interesting lady to listen to, and her work is out of this world. There was an audio issue for the first couple of minutes of the broadcast, so I cut it out, and we start with Poke Shaman from Wagme Wines giving the details on their art contest to design a wine label for their NFT wine project. Hit the subscribe button below and check out some of our other interviews. Our link tree is in the comments.
Which will start after the new year, sometime middle January. I think we'll start the drop after the holidays come down. But, we've done 5 drops so far, and I think all the drops have been really successful. We've had some really awesome artists. Up to this point, Chris Truman has curated those artists. And we thought, there's so many great artists on Tezos. There's great artists everywhere, on there. Like, how can we create some type of an event to see what artists out there would do for a wine label? Because I think wine labels, I know, like, when I go shopping for wine, I look at the art on it. Like, that's like the first thing I see, and then I start looking at the ingredients and shit. But yeah, we just wanted to go out and see what else is out there, and bring new people into the community, get people familiar with the Wagme Wines brand, and thought it'd be like a perfect time because we're going into the holidays. People are gonna have some time off, and maybe we can see what we can do. So, anyways, the contest is kind of like a twofold. So the first part of it is we're going to have artists submit their wine labels, and typically we don't really need like a full format, just a JPEG or PNG, a concept, and you can send that to play@wagme.wine is our email. And again, everything I say here is there's a graph on our profile, and maybe Bits or one where you can pin it, but there's a graph on our Twitter profile, also on our website, where you can get all this information. So, but anyways, yeah, so we're gonna everyone can submit their art, and the art is due on December 7th. So if you have something existing that you might think would make a great wine label, you can send that, anything you want. So you have up until December 7th. Once December 7th hits, then we are going to put all of those entries in a voting voting form, where it'll go to basically a public vote, and the top 10 votes will go into the next phase, which we're going to have a public sale on Tezos. So as far as, like, I had an artist ask me recently about, like, is there a theme? No, there's not a theme. Whatever you think will look cool on a wine label, use your own creative ideas, but everything will look on a wine label, go for it. Anyways, so once we finish the vote, we said we're the top 10. We're gonna create 1,000 editions of each wine label NFT and sell it for 1 Tez each. So, and that will go live on December 15th through the 24th. So basically, whatever wine label gets the most total secondary sales volume will be our next drop artist. Now, there might be some changes to that because some artists were concerned that like a whale friend of theirs could just buy up all 1,000 of them and win.
Oh, I'm not concerned. I want everybody to put me in the top 10, and I will buy my way in.
Yeah. So, but I understand that. So there might be some tweaking to that for like the number one, because I don't want this to be like, okay, 2 of my friends go and spend a bunch of money and get me in. I don't want it to be that way. So there might be a combination of like the initial voting results and also just total secondary sales. So there might be some changes to that. Just want to like put that out there. Should we make it more fair? So, but here's the interesting thing for all the artists that make it to that top 10. So for each piece that sells on primary for those 1,000 editions of each wine label, there's going to be a 4-way split to how that primary is generated. So, for Wagme Wines curating the event. 40% of that will go to Wagme Wines. 40% will go to the artist. 10% will go to the Wagme Wines DAO. And then 10% is going to go into a pool that the winning artist will receive. So there's an additional the overall winner of the event. In addition to, usually there's some compensation for being a wine label artist as well. So in addition to that, but that's kind of the split. Now on secondary sales, it's split 50-50 for the artist and Wagme Wines. So that's, in a nutshell, that's the event. Now the really exciting part about this is that each edition that is purchased has utility in our Wagme Wines game, and that utility is pretty much in perpetuity. So every artist that gets that top 10, just because they don't win the contest, they're going to be selling those pieces for probably a very long time, because what we're going to be doing with those pieces, they're going to have a very similar utility to our game pieces and things like that. Now, I'm not going to give the Wagme Wine people too much necessarily, but anyone that makes the top 10 is going to have a great opportunity to sell a lot of art and also get a lot of exposure, because once we get past that phase, any new people getting into the Wagme Wines game, they're likely going to go back and purchase one of those 10 pieces, because we're going to make it advantageous for them. So it's a cool. I think it's going to be a cool event. I look forward to seeing all the art that that gets brought up. But we had some phenomenal wine label artists so far. So just really excited. One wheel, maybe we can do a few questions. I don't know what your timetable looks like.
Yeah, I think we've got a couple minutes if there's any questions.
Yeah. Anybody have any questions?
Anybody wants to come up and
Bueller?
ask anything?
Bueller? I like this idea. I think this is going to be really cool. I'm very stoked to see who...
anyone can come in the Wagme Wines Discord as well. We have a channel associated with that. You can DM us on Twitter. Just make sure that you get your entries in by December 7th, I believe. That's what I said. Yeah, December 7th. And we'll shortly start the voting after that.
That was awesome. I was talking with my mic off earlier. That was cool. We had a good conversation. I'm stoked for this. I think it's going to be really awesome. I'm very pumped to see what artists enter this contest for this, because it's going to be really awesome. It's so advantageous to them as well, if you ask me. I mean, yeah. I play in the game, and I know that artists that hang out in the game do well.
Yeah, well, we also try to blatantly steal some of the mechanics.
True enough.
Of helping other artists too. So,
true enough.
We don't give enough credit to that. But absolutely. That is where we get a lot of our ideas for helping the artists that hang out in space. So.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that at every edition that the top 10 artists, anyways, every edition that the of the 1,000 that are going to be out there, they're going to be sold. May not be immediate, but it's going to get sold because of what utility we're going to slap on it.
Right.
Well, cool. I mean, that's what it is. We're going to be talking a lot about this event. I'm going to be, every time I get a new submission, I'll be sharing it on Twitter. And if you decide to share any submissions or anything with the event, just hashtag Wagme Wines label contest, so we can kind of organize it a little bit better. But that's it.
Yeah, and the information's all pinned up at the top for anybody that's interested in clicking on things right now. It's right there. Thanks, Poke.
Thanks, Poke.
All right, well, I'm excited to hear her story, so I'm going to step down here, okay? Thanks, guys.
Cool.
Thank you.
Poke Shaman, everybody. Poke Shaman.
Try the wine.
Wagme Wine, big supporters of our space, 100%. We love
He reminded me there's also an 11-11 Tezos event going on right now too. I don't have I'll have to find the details on that. I don't remember who's putting that on or
that's that
seeing a lot about that. So
Yes. Isn't that that's the Mike Nash? What's Mike Nash involved in? He's not here tonight, is he?
Yeah, he's down there.
Oh, is he? He's down there. Oh, geez, man.
That's
right.
the
that guy.
Teztown.
That guy.
I don't think Teztown's
yeah.
actually putting it on, but they are definitely helping promote it.
I heard that. Okay, I was listening to it. Just gonna.
And we'll definitely get some details from Mike after Teztown,
right? Yeah, I totally was. I should just stop talking. I'm my brain's still dead from being sick last week.
I'm just trying to think of. I know there was some other news that happened this week that I wanted to touch on, and I don't remember what it was.
Okay.
There's all kinds of stuff going on. You've got FTX crashing the entire crypto market.
Oh yeah, what's Tez worth today?
Yeah. I don't know, but you know what? They're going to have a really hard time pulling blockchain miners off. I mean, Bitcoin miners off the blockchain. So it's not like it's going anywhere. It's not going anywhere.
Not going anywhere.
It's just big boys throwing their big money dicks around. So,
ooh, Willie.
I'm not worried about it. Not financial advice.
Not financial advice. We always have to say that. Make sure it's not.
I'm not having a glass of wine. I'm having 6. It's called a tasting, and it's classy.
Just thought I'd throw that in there. It's important.
You sure are real excited to get that soundboard back on.
I just, it's the only thing I know that'll come out straight. When I just push the button, the recording will play. The words that are in my brain right now trying to come out my mouth aren't working so well, so I figure, what the fuck, let's just I'll just mash some buttons.
Oh, buddy.
Oh, yeah.
All right, the last thing I'll mention, unless you got anything else before we get Brooke up here, is we are doing a giveaway tonight. We do giveaways pretty much every week, so hang around. We'll probably take a random snapshot, spin a little wheel, and then tweet out a winner. Not sure what we're giving out. I think it's maybe a Shilly Preston piece.
Yes, it is.
We've got sitting in the wallet.
Shilly Preston piece. Yeah, it is. I can't remember exactly which Pepe it is, but it's like a Pepe living his best life, I think is what it's called. But I'll pin it up at the top here in a little bit, for sure. But yes, that's what we're giving away.
Excellent.
Mm-hmm.
I might give away one of my own pieces too, just because I'm trying to get some distribution out there to get some things moving. So we'll see.
That's always exciting.
Random snapshot.
Stuff just given away all the time in this space. Just
you never know. We just like to give stuff back.
We're like Oprah. You get a car. You get a car. No.
We wish. I wish we could do that. I wish we could just be like, all right, we have an edition of blank for everybody in the space tonight.
Well, we could. We could do.
We want to be.
Yeah. You get a Shilly Preston. You get a Shilly Preston. Awesome. I love it. Yeah.
Yeah, we like to pick up stuff cheap and then let the floors rise and then give it away.
That's
that
right.
Way it looks like we're giving away real expensive stuff, but we're like, pick it up.
Lots of speculation.
Yeah.
It's always good. No matter what it's worth, it's always good. That's what I.
Well, it's like on that same thought. There's a paper Buddha in the wallet that I picked up a couple weeks ago because I see him down there.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that in
there. And it's got it's at like 16 Tez right now. I don't remember what it was on sale for, but like 2.2. So I was like, I pick up a couple of these, throw one in the old wallet there, and then
Death's Dance.
It's like, well, that's a big giveaway.
Yeah, Death's Dance, right? I'm just looking at that right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. I like it. Always dropping stuff in there.
So we like to do.
Yeah, no, that's all.
So without further ado, I think, unless you got anything.
No, that was it. The only thing I wanted to mention was that the DAO token entries, our contest is next week, and that was it. Yeah. No, I'm ready to be entertained.
Me too.
Okay.
So we always like to tell how we come across artists in the space. Studio Brooke, I kind of just noticed floating around Paper Buddha's Discord, Temple, and then I think I saw her in the what's the ETH one that you guys do with all the different, like the Bad Luck Club. I think she's a featured artist in there too. Then she came into the Grotto, and she's a Grotto member, and just always a fun time in the Grotto. And she was hanging out one day, and I was like, okay, I gotta leave. I want to hear these stories on our space. So that's why I invited her on. So here we are. So with that, welcome, Studio Brooke.
Well, thank you for having me. And probably the thing I am most excited about is getting this over with so that you aren't avoiding me anymore. I feel like you're scared I'm going to like give all this alpha away or all these great stories and you won't know what to ask. But like once this is over, I think we can go back to normal, right?
Yeah, I do. I don't like to know too much because then, yeah, exactly. I feel like I don't know what to ask. So I
Well,
want to
He says
hear it fresh.
he says that
open
he
book.
said that a few times. He said that a few times, but he's always had questions. Yeah.
I look forward to them. I hope they're good. I hope they're salacious. Go for it.
Yeah, I don't have any. I already know everything.
Well, that was anticlimactic. All right, bye.
Yeah, I need a cigarette.
No, I mean we always want to get a little background. How did you get into art or in your style? Where'd your style come from? How long have you been doing it? Some simple stuff.
Simple,
And then
just the entire story of my life.
Do
Okay.
you work?
and
Do you work a
we'll,
day
and then
job?
we'll end with who you voted for today.
There you go.
Well, that one's easy. Sure. I'm happy to address that. Do you want to know about me and my photographer? Do you want to know how I hit NFTs? Is this
All of it. We want
All
to
of
know
it.
all of it.
Yeah,
We
just
want to start at the beginning and yeah.
Yeah,
All
just
right,
tell
buckle
it.
in, everybody.
Oh,
This is
here
gonna
we
be a
go.
long night.
So it was
No.
a dark night.
Yeah, no, so I've been a photographer for well over 20 years. I try not to do the math on that because people can figure out how old I am. But yeah, no, I've been a photographer forever. I started out, I guess, in art school, as is the story for so many people, I feel like, in the NFT space, wanting to be a painter. Photography is what actually found me. And so a million years ago, I started shooting news and I started shooting music, like touring bands. So I always think there's a lot of questions as to why some of my stories, and it's because I've shot over 400 nationally touring artists. I've toured, I've done all that stuff, which was really great and really fun in my younger years. But in the 20 something years that has sort of gone from that point in college to now, I've been nothing but a photographer. So I've done a lot. For the last decade or so, I've specialized in sort of corporate, nonprofit, large scale events. And what that means is like galas, like when you have 1,000 people in a room and it's like the, society type stuff, raising millions of dollars for charity with like A-list performers, singing to a room like that. It could be concerts. For example, here's one like what does the fan experience at the Super Bowl look like? That was a fun job for me. Or the US Open, or anything where people were sort of congregating. And I've been doing this a long time, and I'm really thankful that I got a lot of work and I had a lot of great clients. And, I was sort of on this great upward trajectory and swing. And then the pandemic hit, and that was really soul crushing. It really like decimated my business because my entire business was about, large format events with people together celebrating, congregating close together. There was
Dude.
one day I could photograph portraits of people, and the next day I couldn't see their faces, literally covered up in masks. And my work was just gone. So it was depressing for a bit, and I didn't touch my cameras for a while. And for the first time in my life, I just had time. Like was really busy post pandemic. I was shooting 100 plus jobs a year. I had people working for me. And then nothing, crickets. So I think like a lot of people, you got inventive. So for a minute that was day trading, and that became crypto. And then I sort of, was aware of NFTs, a little skeptical at first. And then the first project that really got me, and because I was an art school kid and wanted to be a painter, was Damien Hirst's The Currency. And I was like, love him or hate him. He is a traditional artist that everything sort of turns to gold. And what is this? Sure, I'm in. So that was the first NFT I bought. And I think like everybody knows, once you buy one NFT, like all of a sudden you have like 100. Like I don't even know how that happens. And And
Facts.
so, yeah, fact, right? Like you're just like, I'm just gonna buy this one thing, and the next thing you're like, oh, what is, you're like looking at an animated cat like shooting lasers out its eyes. I must have that. So just like everybody else, and I started as a collector. So I think that was great. I learned a lot about the different blockchains, and what do I like collecting, what don't I like, and this leads itself, for Discord. And I think once I found my first community and I sort of found a home within like the art world, within Discord, within all of it. And for me, that was the Monsters Discord for Des Chris, and like it just became home for me. And I met a lot of people who I'm still friends with and are in projects that I'm with now there. And at some point after collecting, I started thinking, wait a second, like I do this, I do art. Like it didn't come as a natural like assumption for me and a thought. And so I started showing some people photos, and especially in the Monsters board, people were really supportive. Really, and I didn't think much of it. And then a few people within that community, Dust himself and Fu and DeBirds, who is over in Alpha Dog now, were amongst the three of them that were like, you know what, Mint, just do it. And I had no idea how, and I thought it was going to be this scary thing. And I sort of had this moment where I was trying to buy an NFT on ETH, and it was a photo, and gas ended up costing more than the NFT itself. And they had this like just like record scratch, and I was like, oh fuck, it's Tezos. That's what I'm missing. And I literally wrote a tweet that night that just said, fuck it, I'm going for it. And that week I dropped my first 6 auctions. I did 6 one-of-one auctions back to back to back in one day. And I had no idea.
Did somebody tell you to go to Tezos, or did you just find
Well,
it?
I was collecting there. It was
You're
actually my
already
favorite.
collecting on Tezos.
Yeah, because I was
Okay.
collecting Des's work there a lot, and actually a lot of people that are in this, spaces right now. Like literally, I see Buddha and Lou and Proteon, and I think I saw Chemical. Like it's like, oh, these are all like people I'm collecting that I'm getting to know. I'm really liking the community. Like it just feels like rock and roll to me. It feels like raw. I'm loving, all the attitude. Yeah, like fuck it. And so I decided I'm going to go with 6 one-of-one auctions in one day. I have no idea if anybody's paying attention or is going to care at all. And I put up, like I said, that fuck it tweet, which got a little bit of attention, I think, simply because nobody knew. I have no idea if anybody's paying attention or is going to care at all. And I put up, like I said, that fuck it tweet, which got a little bit of attention, I think, simply because nobody knew what to make of me or what was going on. And I sold all 6 pieces that day. And then I cried, like ugly tears, just like a lot.
Dude.
Because I realized more so than selling my photos, because like I said, I've been a professional photographer and I've been successful for a long time. But this was the first time where I felt like I could take like that power back from everything like the pandemic took. And also it's what I always wanted to be, was an artist. And I still am. I'm very successful in corporate client based projects and work. I still love that too.
But
But like,
the work tends to get in the way, right?
yes,
And
I mean,
you stop seeing the art for the art. You see it as the job.
totally. And look, I have kids and I need money, and I'm a human, and so it's nice to have stability. And like I said, with my corporate work, I am sought after. I'm known. Like people come to me. I don't have to sell myself at this point. I'm very grateful and very thankful for that security. Um, but I really wanted people to like me for my art, what I want to shoot, as opposed to what people commission me to shoot for them. It's a subtle difference, but it's a big difference, and so it was really intoxicating. And from that, like the Studio Brook like universe and ecosystem of what I'm doing now was sort of born, and I didn't even know that it was a possibility. And that was January, which feels like forever ago, and like just
Just
a
the
minute ago. Um, but it's been really exciting. So I mean, that's sort of my origin story as far as how I find myself here. So yeah.
So I take it your professional stuff is not freelance then.
It is actually freelance, but I'm lucky enough in that I have a few clients that just use me all the time. So I have a
Almost like someone would
client.
hire a wedding photographer, but over
Well,
and over again.
yeah, I mean, like with a wedding, right? They would, I don't know, with corporate, um, a lot of people have a lot of events. So like that one of my clients is a hospital. I would shoot 60 plus events for them a year. Anything with donors, anything that's fundraising, anything that's for press. Anytime they cut a ribbon on a new building, stuff like that. And another client of mine, is Paramount, which is Viacom and CBS, and all their properties.
Name
So
dropping.
same thing for that. Like that could have been 50 jobs a year. And so like I was very busy. I still am. These are still clients of mine. Um, but I was lucky because I didn't have to. I worked hard at the shooting and the editing and all of that, but not at the getting jobs. They found their way to me.
That's nice, isn't it?
Yes.
Shit.
Yeah. Yeah. As a creative, as someone that makes their living with a camera, it's nice to actually make a comfortable living as a creative with a camera.
100%.
So
Lots of people strive for it. And
yeah.
wow.
A hundo.
And I'm just kind of sitting, sorry, just got kind of jumped in here. I'm like, my brain is spinning just listening to that first little intro that you've done. I'm like,
But wait, there's more.
I know. And I'm sitting here making notes. And okay, got to go talk about this. So I need another piece of paper anyways. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm trying to write down notes too, but I already forgot some, and I'm like, oh, I gotta get back. Um, before I forget, because didn't write this down. How do you get into shooting bands? Like, you just follow them around like in the crowd and
Fine, take pictures. You're here all the time. Just take pictures then, right? No, just kidding.
Yeah, have you not seen Almost Famous?
I
Um,
have. So like, is that it though? Like,
no. I mean, a little bit, but no. Some of it is right place, right time. Some of it was fortuitous. It was just luck. So I had friends that were in a band that got signed to RCA Records, and they needed photos. And I happened to be there on that ride with them. So some of it was that. Some of it was when I was young and had a lot of energy, and like I would go on spec. So whether that was I was the photo editor of my college newspaper, or whether it was for some of the local daily newspapers I worked for, like I would always try and get the gigs to shoot concerts. I just loved it. So that was a big component. And I hustled. And then at some point, I got picked up by a stock agency. So at first, I was working for Image Direct. Then I was working for Wire Image. Wire Image was then bought by Getty. And so then, you got the credentials and you with the big boys, so to speak. So, it's like anything. Some of it's luck, but like the harder you work, the luckier you get. But so it
yeah,
started like that, and then I was good at it. And it takes a certain type of person to get like pushed around in a pit and to do it night after night, no matter whether it's like Britney Spears or porn or whatever, and still come back the next night, not just because you're a fan, but I mean, I was a fan of music, but it became a job, a very exciting job.
I
But
have
I did
to.
that for years.
I have to interrupt and go because you said being pushed around in a pit at a Britney Spears show. Like, are we talking like a mosh pit at a Britney Spears?
I mean, this is why the conservatorship.
All right.
No, not a Britney. Although I will say there definitely were boy bands at the time where you did not want to like stand in front of the wrong screaming girl. I mean, that was definitely a thing. But no, but I mean, but I shot everything. I mean, I shot for radio stations, I shot for record labels, I shot for publications, I shot for some bands themselves. And as you get known for anything, right? I at the time I was based out of Boston, which is a slightly smaller. It's still a big market because of all the college towns, but you get known, and then the jobs come through, and that's where a tour starts, and do anything long enough and good enough, right? Like that's where the work comes.
To
I
be
loved it.
good enough. To be good enough too. That's very important, and it's evident in what I've seen of your stuff so far. So
Yeah, and I also honestly I loved. I'm sure I'm like 5'2" and I'm female, and I loved it. It's mostly like sort of a guy's kind of thing. In fact, one of my best friend is in the room right now, who's a tour photographer. So, but like it's a lot of guys shooting this stuff, and it was really fun to be like small and little and unassuming, and then like shoot them like the fuck under the table was just joy for years. Personally
sorry,
enjoyed that.
you're 5'2"?
Yes, I'm 5'1" and three
Awesome.
quarters if you want to be
Oh no,
specific, but
no, I totally get that. That's a short. I'm always because I'm always 5'6.5" because
five,
I got to get
five,
that
6,
extra.
but it's a big half,
But
right?
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
See,
exactly.
notice how the female went shorter and the male went taller. Because as
I'm
a
just
female,
being
you want to
honest.
be cute and adorable and fit in a pocket. As a male, you always want to be a little taller.
Yeah, I'm probably actually only 5'5". I'm probably just bullshit all around. But I just
I mean, I think we all know that you're 5'5" and it's a little bullshit all around, but we're gonna let it go.
I like this girl. It's hilarious. It's fact.
I just thought it was an interesting kind of human nature thing to do that.
Yeah, no, it's very
So
true.
that's all I was pointing out there.
Yes, yes.
I feel like Celador's trying to like push me off my game right now. You just accepted my Dick Bertel. Oh, I'm so excited offer. Okay, ignoring that.
Background business going on.
Oh my
Uh,
goodness, I've been after
always
that for a while.
always deals to be had.
Always.
Always deals to be had. Hmm. Where do we go from here?
Um,
I wanna try to stay with the art itself for a minute before we get into some wild road stories.
well, I was going to ask because I mean, your photography, and then I was looking at this evening editions collection.
Mm-hmm.
I like this a lot.
Thank you.
Can you tell me a little more about it?
Sure. All right, let's zoom out. Can I just tell you about like what I shoot, like what Studio Brook, and that is part of it? Can I
Of
Absolutely.
course.
Absolutely.
co-opt this question?
Absolutely.
So I feel like anybody that knows me knows that I fucking love New York City. I am just such a city person. I think there's sort of like a joke that whenever I get this great idea to like leave the city, find the real America, so to speak, like I'm just like, ugh, nature. Like, who knew about this? And like break out into hives and I'm just like run back. And so it's like this love of New York and just cities in general is sort of what fuels the whole like Studio Brook ecosystem. And I think I like how do you shoot a city in a meaningful way, in an artistic way, but is also unique is difficult. Shooting any project in photography and making it unique that somebody can see the picture and know it's yours is like the hardest bit. I think like you can see a gorgeous picture of a waterfall. Like I all the time I see these in my Twitter feed. I'm like, that's great. No idea who took it. Like, you know what I mean? It's just another nondescript, a beautiful photo. And the same thing is true with street photography. So I like had a lot of time to like, what is it? Who am I? What am I trying to show? And I think in like that same way, when you say how do you shoot a city that like drift, like for example, is on a rooftop and looking down, I knew I wasn't going to do that, but I did like the fact that you could be like I know it. I think for me, it's how do I capture the energy of the city, and I do that from the ground up in a very different way. So everything that I love about city, like the people, the diversity, the culture, the food, the seasons, all of it is sort of factors into this ecosystem for me. So the project that I probably spend the most time on lately is a bit on ETH, which is Streetwalkers. And Streetwalkers, like if I had to give you the 2-second pitch, is people walking through the city. But it's interesting to me because the person becomes interesting. Like New York is such a diverse place. And so I try and represent that in the people. Like where are they going? Who are they? Fashion becomes a big part of that. What are they wearing? New York is about street style and sneaker culture, but it's also about classism. There's, sort of the people at the society at the tippy top, and then there's the workers, and that definitely um, factors in. I love architecture, so obviously they're walking through the city, but for me, most of the backgrounds on walkers and most of my projects in general really highlights graffiti culture and street art, and rip down posters and stickers and all of this stuff too, like the energy and the elements. It's all part, of the piece that becomes a street walker. And
I see a
it's
lot trying
almost,
to capture the ephemera.
yeah, it's like I think both are the main characters when I look through my work. Like the person is what you would think of being the subject and the main character, but the city to me is also a main character. Like they're both very important to me. And then the fact that like when you walk through New York City, like so many things are in flux. There's so much energy, things are temporary. So if a car is parked in a certain place, I can't get a certain wall. If the light is shining through in the wrong way, like New York has definitive seasons, like I can't get that shot too, and like that also helps dictate. And things change here and things move fast, and there's so many times I see the perfect wall and the perfect person, and a cab just gets in the fucking way, and too bad. Like that's New York, right? You really have to fight out for it. You really have to wait. The city is difficult sometimes, and it makes you wait, and it's challenging, and I love that aspect of it, sort of like a hunt too.
Do you
um,
do you ever set anything up?
so far from what I have minted for walkers, no, I haven't. I do get stopped sometimes, I mean, mostly by men who ask me to take pictures of them walking. Occasionally, I humor somebody, but I have not put any of that up for sale. I do think there is a project in the near future for me where I might, but I would differentiate that stuff.
Mhm.
I do think it could be a lot of fun, perhaps,
I was just
to
thinking about seeing that. There's a piece with like a Chinese dragon. I don't remember
yes.
the name of it. I don't always I try not to look through as I'm doing it. I was trying to look through a day ahead or whatever. But anyway, so that piece just looks so perfect to me. I'm like, there's no way she didn't set this up.
Well, I mean, I saw that, right? That was for Lunar New Year's. That one is actually in Seattle. That's not New York. Most of my stuff is in New York, but that one isn't. And it just happened to be like there was this like lion dance and dragon dance sort of crew, and they had been practicing for what would be like a performance that was going to be later. And so, they were sort of huddled up and they put their dragon like up against the wall, and the lighting was just right. And, I went for it. I
Yeah,
think the
that
thing
was be my next question. You didn't bring any additional lighting or anything like that. That was all whatever was there, all natural.
that was what's there. I think, there's that cliche like, the harder I work, the luckier I get. Like I have learned like the more I go out with a camera, like the more I see,
Mhm.
right? In the city, there are times you go out and maybe you don't find much, but most times like, if you just put in the steps and walk the extra block, like you're going to find stuff to shoot. I mean, cities are densely, packed, interesting places if you know how to look right. I mean, I think that would be my first lesson, like in photography, would be not even to, look through the camera, just to look through your eyes and say like what makes this block different from all the others, like and to have that conversation. And so for me, like maybe in this case, Lunar New Year's, that's a holiday and it's something that isn't seen that often, and the light happens to be just right. Look, and there's a million things that I walk by and don't shoot, or a million pictures and frames I shoot that never make it, onto social media or the blockchain or wherever else. But yeah, I mean, some of it is just luck and being out there, for sure.
That's
So yeah, so walkers like is the people and the city, and then what I have on Super Rare, which is sort of a new collection I'm starting, is more about the people. Although they're still in the urban settings, these questions like who are these people, and that goes a little more in depth that way. And so now evening editions, right, and going to Tezos, um, is the other main character, and it's the city. So a lot of those pictures, some of them have people in them, and a lot of them don't. For me, it's sort of street textures. And the way I see that is there's like a conversation going on that a ton of people are having not at all at the same time and that you don't necessarily see. So, right, like, so somebody spray paints a wall and then somebody sticks a sticker up and somebody pulls down a poster
Oh,
and somebody paints over that again
I
and
love it.
somebody sticks up another, right? And sometimes these areas that you might see as my big NFT might be like 1 foot, like one tiny little piece of a giant wall, and I'm laying on my belly, like on the sidewalk, like to capture it. But like I see these as these like free abstract paintings that are ever like, like you can go into a museum to find like a really thought out piece. And like for me, I'm like, oh, there's all this free art out here just to look at if you like know how to find it. And it's fun for me to go hunting for this stuff. It doesn't happen every day. The last 2 times I went out shooting, I could not find a texture in a wall that I thought was good enough, that was interesting enough. And then some days you see 10, but and I also like how fleeting they are. A lot of these pieces, I've been back to the same doorway or I've been back to the same wall, and they look different because 10 more people have painted over them or posted another bill. So it's like it's a moment in time too.
Yeah, the
Yeah, there's some pizza shop somewhere that covered up a Banksy in like 2 days
Right. It
because he
happens.
didn't like the graffiti on the side of his wall.
fucking whack job.
Okay.
That's one of the greatest, parts of the project too for me. And that's city life, right? Things change, things go out of business, things get boarded up. Like to your point, a landlord is like, what is this shit? And like takes a paintbrush and paints over it. And then somebody else comes in another day, some new artist, and like puts a handprint up. I mean, it's
Yeah.
it's kind of the great way the city moves.
I just took a look at the streetwalkers and I was just flipping through everything, and yeah, I really dig the whole graffiti poster background or stuff that catches your eye. I really like that a lot. Like even my PFP that I have right now is a Nike jerk, and he does this graphic art stuff, and I really like it. I think there's definitely something to be said for it. Like it's really appealing. And now I'm
Well,
falling down
thank you.
a rabbit hole.
I mean, I think the thing that's, fun of all the pieces that I've shot recently, the one that I have like huge on my wall that's like as big as like my arm span, like I have big over my couch, is actually my open edition on Tez, which is Face Off, which is, a street scene. Like it's just like a textured piece. And again, that doesn't exist anymore. But for me, like I can just stare at something like that forever and see, I could see 50 layers in there. And then for me, I like to imagine all the different people that had a hand in making this piece of art. And then I get to be another
Mm-hmm.
person in that chain that just took a photo of it. And some of it, is me thinking of how I'm going to crop that or I'm going to burn or dodge it. Like I will play around with some of these pieces a little bit, and be like that next person that touched the piece in the chain. So I just like thankful I get to be like a steward of it too and be part of that conversation.
Absolutely. Fuck. Oh man, and there I was talking again with my microphone off. Fuck.
I liked it.
Look,
You
I
did a
thank
lot.
you. I appreciate that. So finally, somebody that appreciates it. Jesus. Ah,
So supportive.
yeah, it was. I assure you, what I said was amazing. Awesome. So you're
Yeah,
actually go ahead, Willie.
no, go ahead.
Dude, I muted my mic when I said that. It's your turn.
Just
You go. Okay.
just leave it on.
Uh,
Now you made me forget what the heck I was gonna say. No, it's no surprise or secret that we love street art around here. Um, it's a big thing. That's what really drew me to a lot of your work. And just like the colors that you can find in street art that just make things pop. But then you were saying something earlier about the walkers, um, really being a part of that piece. And when I first started looking at your stuff, I kind of saw that as an obstacle for me to see what I wanted to see until I really
Hmm.
started looking at it. And then I did start seeing it as like, okay, why am I staring at this guy so much? Why do I care what shoes he's wearing? Why do I care if his
You
shirt's
do.
untucked?
Well,
I'm like,
it's
why am I so interested in this guy?
Well, I'll say that like when I first started the project, my fear was that it was too simple, right? Like just a person, well, anybody can do that. But I'll say it's really challenging because for me, and this is just a personal like added complexity because nothing can be too easy. Like I want to find that perfect person that fits that wall, right? So I haven't, it's not a huge collection, but I mean, what you don't know is I've got hundreds of pieces that are sitting here, and as I curate, through them, I really do have a lot that hasn't been shown yet. But I also like commonalities between people. So I was dropping sort of in fives, like in seasons in my head for a while. So the first one was Smoke Show, which was everybody smoking. And I love it that you've got like this diversity in terms of like different ethnicities. There's men and women, there's older and younger people, but what's the common length? Like they're all smoking a cigarette. So that was the first season I dropped, or smoking something, I should say. And then the second one was urban camouflage, and that's where everybody matches the wall they're walking by. And that took a long time, and that was very difficult. But like some of those pieces, if you look through, like it's just like the heavens opened up, and it was like the perfect person wearing the perfect outfit that they look camouflaged against the background. And I did that, and I thought like that's kind of funny, like as a unifier. And the last pieces have been dog walkers. What was that?
Sort of getting a little echoey there.
Oh yeah, I definitely heard that for a sec. Yeah, and then I've been doing dog walkers, lately, because again, like those people might not seem like anybody that would stop and talk to each other, but they do have that unifying theme of like the love of their dog. And you could see like two people that are so different, like, their dogs, the leashes get tangled, and it's like they have a cute New York City moment. And that's part of it too.
Aw.
Yeah, just the unifying shit,
That's I was gonna say that's something you don't hear very often about New York. A little cute, little unifying. And then they said, "Get the hell out of here."
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they can love to hate each other too, but no, I mean,
Yeah.
I think that I love how diverse of a place New York is, and yet like we all share the love of being here. Nobody is here that isn't putting effort into it. This is not an easy place to be. It's a difficult, tough place. It takes a lot to survive here. And it spits people out pretty quickly. And also, I think if you're a New Yorker within like minutes of being here. You don't have to be born here. You just know it innately pretty quick. And so like I like to sort of give those people like a moment, both in Streetwalkers and in my super rare collection, which will be growing. That's sort of small at the moment, but yeah, like the stories of the streets and the stories of the people on the streets.
I got to looking at your stuff. I was listening to you speak and talk about all this. I'm looking at your pieces, and they're just it's coming more and more to life for me. I'm really liking all this background and this stuff. That's really awesome to hear it out of your out of the artist's mind.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, I have put a lot of thought into it, and like I was said at the very beginning, is I think like as a photographer, you work really hard to like figure out a narrative, and then and a way to showcase it, and then a way where people like I don't care if people go, oh, is that Streetwalkers chick or that studio something, it's fine, but like you know I haven't been in this space for that long, nor have I had the success that a lot of others have, but it is really exciting to me and it really emotional to me when I've seen people see my work and know it's in mine. And that's really what I've been striving for through this project. And, is to create a voice. It's just one story. It's one love story of New York. Like it's just mine. But this is what really gets me. And I feel really like humbled that I get to share that and that people care and that people collect. I mean, that's pretty rad.
Yeah, dude.
I feel like that's definitely a lot harder to do to differentiate your work as a photographer, as opposed to like, you look at a laser Lou, obviously it's lasers, and you just assume it's a laser Lou, if it's that
Which,
good.
by the way,
you look at
is
a
why
paper Buddha, and it's paper Buddha.
And I was gonna say, which by the way is why, and you mentioning Lou, like I always say, Lou is sort of like one of my favorite like dark horse photographers, actually, because ultimately you're seeing a photograph of his laser setup, but Lou's work anywhere, right?
Yeah,
like,
there's not anyone in this space that I'm familiar with their work that I couldn't pick it out of a lineup.
Yeah,
You know what
I
I mean?
think Right. And I think, looking at who's in this group, like I would recognize a good chunk of the people in here on their work, but that's not an easy task. Like it doesn't matter what your medium, whether it's lasers or, scissors, so to speak, or photography. It is hard to differentiate yourself in any medium. But with photography, I feel like collectors don't know where to start. It's very overwhelming. There are so many photos out there. There's also so many great photos out there, but they're like singles. Like that photographer took one great shot. Like it's hard to have a narrative and a collection, let alone a few collections and like kind of, as I call it, like my universe, like that all go together. And all of it makes sense that it goes together. And I'd like to think that you could see my evening editions and the textures on the wall, and you could see my walkers and still know it's all me, because it all makes sense sort of together. And I don't ever want people to say like, the Tezos versus the ETH is different levels or better, worse. For me, it's all one New York, story. It's all just sort of my experience of New York.
You that's a great point that you bring up, that it's so hard to find where to start. And my question with kind of in regards to that is, does that have a lot to do with the camera qualities on iPhones these days, kind of thing?
Yes and no. So first off, any camera is simply a tool. And one of my least favorite/favorite questions is, what camera do you use? Because I don't really think it matters. As long as you have a camera that does what you need it to do, right? Like as a professional photographer, I don't want to be hindered by and not be able to create my vision because my tools weren't good enough. But at the end of the day, they're tools, right? So some of my work up here is actually shot on iPhone, and I don't think you can tell. I don't necessarily always lead with that. Most of it is with real, like DSLR professional cameras, but there's a few iPhone shots. So good and bad, right? So for me, great,
It's
because I have a
the
high
old cliche of the best camera is the one that you have on you, right?
100%. So in a few of these cases, I haven't had my camera on me. And in which case, I still think they're great photos, and I'm really excited that I get to share them with everybody. And sometimes an iPhone is an easier thing to like hold over the edge of a railing, or to like, slide in between somewhere as a thin little camera, to get stuff too. But, for like walkers and all that, like that's all done, with in quotes real cameras, because it's a different thing and what I'm looking for. But I think good thing, I've got an extra tool and it's always on me and it's in my pocket. Bad thing, if I would say that, is everybody has a zillion photos of everything, and you can mint a zillion photos of everything, and there's a lot of noise to cut through, which is fine. That's okay. Like I'm not intimidated by that. But if you're a collector now and there's a billion photos to go through, like it's hard to know where to begin. It's hard to take a risk on a new photographer, new or not, right? Like and decide that they're who you want to like put your ETH or your TES behind, right? Because there's so many of us. And so like for me, I've spent a lot of time I spent a lot of time out there, like trying to like not justify, but like this is why I'm worth it. And for me, it's because I have a story that goes with it, and I really care. And it what fuels me to take the extra photo or spend the extra time editing or walk the extra block. Um, I think I like to hope that it comes off as authentic, my work, and that people know like I'm here, because whether I am minting stuff or not, whether it's a bear market or not, I'm still shooting. Like I still go out at least once a week, and spend a day out in New York, even if you never see that work. Like it's just who I am. And so I hope that comes across, that that I do love this, and I'm going nowhere, as well.
Dude, hey, what's up, guys?
Hey,
How's it
Mike.
going? Hey,
Hey,
how's it
Mike.
going? What's up? I just wanted to, man, um, talk about first of all, I think my first experience with your work was with the walkers and with the urban camouflage, and holy smokes, dude! I don't know. I've been able to I've spent a handful of relevant times in the city, but it's only been like the past year or two, and and to well, first of all, okay, so urban camouflage and the walkers. Uh, the time I'm like super socially anxious, and I don't like to be in crowds, and I like to blend in and kind of be like on like a fly on the wall, um, and the captures that you took with how the fashion and the lighting and the street art and everything came together was like holy shit, like that's that's fucking awesome, and to be able to be in that spot at that time, and also with like the anxieties of like being in the city and being in like super public places, and and to be able to like be comfortable and be in and wait and be there for that moment, was really inspiring, and also kind of gave a snapshot of some memories and some of my own personal connections with the city, dude. It's it's like freaking nuts. It's like I don't know, walking down the street. I mean, you see some things, and you know you wish you had a camera or your phone ready, but then to go out with intention like that, and and hang out and spend that time and be a photographer in that environment, to be comfortable and capture these super organic, comfortable moments that just work perfectly together, is something that like really turned me on like right off the bat.
Well, I am very excited that I could turn you on, and for me, like I appreciate that. Like that is actually a huge, huge compliment. Yeah, I mean, it's difficult. And by the way, like I battle sometimes with seeing something perfect and not shooting it because the situation feels like dangerous or feels wrong or feels, or I just miss it, right? Like, it's unfocused. Or I can't tell you how many times like I'll beat myself up over what could have been the perfect shot, but like whatever. I messed it up. And I think this has been a great like practice and patience and exercise. Like I can go by a wall and you never know when you're done. That's actually something else that I've learned through this project is like you could get the perfect person, but you don't necessarily know. Like I don't feel like until it's in the computer and I have it big up on a screen that I know that I necessarily got it. I have a hunch at this point, right? But like you just don't know if the next person that walks by is going to be better or more interesting. And there's also something to just like calling it when you're in a spot, and waiting and urban camouflage for me is actually how I kind of understood that this was a project, because I had been shooting a lot of people and walls. And it wasn't until I got some of these urban camouflage moments, I was like, no, these are special, right? There's a few pieces in particular where I was just like, like it's the time, the person, the place, the weather, the like, it's just like that magical moment. And I was like, this isn't just a photo, right? There's a few of them. There's like the woman in the red coat, which was one of the first moments where I got it, where I was just like, oh yeah, this is something special and real, which and it makes me happy as we all know, but three owns that one, and I felt really like excited by that. But there's some of these other ones too. There's the guy holding his dog who's got the yellow sneakers and the bucket hat and the gray and the yellow and the gray and the yellow wall, and I saw him walking further up the block. I'd been in that spot and I had given up and just said, I'm not going to get it. And I started walking up the block and I saw this guy and I knew where I just was and I like just ran like an idiot with my cameras, just like trying to get ahead of him and not be seen, knowing where I was hoping he was going to end up. Like some of it not set up, but it's me having the like understanding of where he was going, right? And that doesn't always work. Sometimes
And if that guy sees you and looks at you, that shot's
done,
ruined, right?
over, right? Like, maybe he sees me and that's a moment. That's not really what I've been doing. I do have some interesting shots of people who catch me, right? Like I have thought about that as a series at some point, but it's not really what I was going for. He could also take a left turn instead of a right at some point, right? I can't tell you how many times I go to take someone's picture and they like, scratch their head or sneeze or do something that's just not, appealing. Or like I said, a bike or a cab or a car can drive by right at the wrong time, or like I could get blocked on the sidewalk, or I've been chased off by, homeless people or people trying to talk to me or whatever. And it's all part of it, right? It's all part of that. But it's like that could be frustrating, but it makes those victories like so much sweeter and to get to like go hunting and be a part of it and be part of the crazy energy. Like I'm one of those weird people that's like standing behind cars, like, snooping, waiting for people. Like I'm another weird character in the city, and that's awesome too.
That's pretty funny.
I was going to say you probably definitely blend in quite well in New York doing that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, like this is the place to do it for sure, right? Like this is definitely, if you're going to go just be a crazy person, like might as well do it here.
They should put that on the t-shirt.
But the whole urban camouflage deal to me too is like that. I want, like, on the other side of the experience, like I want to blend in. I don't want to stand out. I don't want to be something that somebody's going to take a picture of or look at or think is something noteworthy or important. Like I just want to like be like observing. And I don't know, like that whole end of it, like on the other side of the lens or the other side of the street or the dude like 4 steps behind, like that's I don't know, like there's like a lot of levels of complexity to this to that work. But the one thing, one of your the recent posts that I saw at least, that I would love to know more about, because I think I've already written like a whole freaking treatment and film and sequel to is this leather weather. Oh my God, dude! Like talk about almost famous.
Yeah, so that's really funny. So the I think I put up 2 on leather weather. It's just the last 2 times I've gone shooting, like it's become leather jacket weather, which I love. Like I'm a denim bomber jacket, leather jacket person. Like I own all of those jackets. Like I'm a New Yorker. I have a million jackets. Like we don't have cars, we have jackets. We have sneakers and we have jackets, of which I love both. So just recently I was out and I got there's 2 guys in leather jackets. There will be, I think from the last time I was shooting, I think I have a girl in like a yellow leather jacket that might be coming. But yeah, it's just being out there and it's being fortuitous. So I was going down to Soho and I decided to get off at Canal Street for what ends up being the leather weather photos. Because I was going to a store. Like I just wanted to go to Stadium Goods to get a limited edition hoodie. Like I was doing it for myself, and I figure, well, if I'm going down there, I'll bring my camera. So I wasn't necessarily going looking for anything. I wasn't even sure I was necessarily going to shoot. I was on a me mission. But that's what's great about New York, right? Like it's that time of year, and this is where weather becomes yet another like character in the story, right? So now fashion's changed because weather has changed, and if you're in Canal Street or Soho, you're in these places, like you're gonna get a certain type. And yeah, that dude, if it's the guy by the subway that you're talking about, like he does, like why does that guy exist? But of course he exists, and like you see so many of those people. There's another series I have put up on, I have some of them on Instagram and some of them on Twitter, where like you have people with all the different colored hair, right? Like I have a woman with blue hair, and then there was a woman with green hair, and like I have one that I haven't put up yet with someone with red hair. It's like, but but there's so many fun bits and stories like that. And again, the unifiers of New York, like for a city with 8 million people, like one, the audacity to stand out, but then also like you could still find your community here. And being you in this city is encouraged. Like I feel like that crazy guy in the leather coat that's on my Twitter, right? Like, of course he belongs here. Like, of course. Like, and he doesn't even seem that unusual on the street. He's just like, he's just him. And that's why I'm another reason why I'm so happy and grateful I get to be part of that and live here too. And you know, you can really be yourself here. And I like that I can share that and capture that. It's honestly, like I said, it's, you know, it's humbling to just be one more like sort of cog in this big, you know, city machine, and to get to share it and show it. And that's another thing I like is that, you know, I get a lot of DMs from people that are I traveled to New York City once and I loved it, or I lived there for a brief minute after college or during college, or it's always been my dream to visit this city. And like, it makes me happy. There's a lot of people who have nostalgia for here or like a love here, or they've never been here and it's an aspirational thing. And like the fact that I get to be a little bit of a window into that is really amazing for me. I'm really thankful. You know, when I get a message like that makes me feel great. And so Mike, just like your story of like being here and the energy of here and that you want to blend in or whatever, like people have feelings about New York, really good, sometimes really bad. It doesn't matter, but like it is a place that people have an opinion about, even if you haven't been here. And you know, I like that I can throw my narrative in there also.
I got to get me to New York.
You
I don't know.
do need to come
I
to
think
New York.
I think it might eat me alive, though. I
Yeah,
think
but
it
you
might.
might love it. You might. I mean, I can think of worse things that could eat you alive.
Sure enough.
Yeah,
I
I'm gonna be at home in Miami in the golf cart. I don't know about New York.
yeah.
Well,
I'm definitely
I'm
more
going
of
to
a
take
golf cart
advantage of Miami in a few weeks myself. But I'm still an advocate for New York.
I've always wanted to go. I just never have. You know, West
It'll
Coast doesn't always make it that easy
it'll
if it's
definitely
not
happen.
part of your job.
It'll happen for me someday for sure. It's one of those city, you know, it's definitely somebody I know it's somewhere I'll like to visit. I don't know if it's somewhere I would ever like to live, but definitely something to be said for being in a city where you can basically get anything or do anything you want 24 hours a day, right?
Totally.
Hmm.
I think the thing is, like, for people who want to be here and for people who understand how to utilize what's here, because it can be really overwhelming. You can get frozen in indecision and choice. Like, do I take a left turn? Do I take a right turn? Like, there's 500, you know, restaurants. Where am I go? Like, but if you really like understand how to like use the tools that are available, or just say like, fuck it, I'm gonna just go where the wind blows. However you want to, you know, go with it. There is something for everybody. There is a store that caters to you. There is a museum that has, you know, the things you want to see. There is the right scene. There are you know, there are millions of people of which to find your community and friends. It can feel really lonely when you don't know those people, but when you like start to like lock in your place and your neighborhood and your community, like it can be very homey and it can be very exciting and liberating, just to be able to do you in a place that really allows for it.
Damn, that was a hell of a sales pitch for New York right there,
I
man.
I
It's like,
think the tourism board
yeah,
needs to
that's right.
like I don't know where Taylor Swift gets the be on all the posters here. They just haven't been looking in the right places. It's all
Really?
about Studio Brook.
But did
Yeah.
you shoot those posters?
Yeah.
I wish that would be like where it all came full circle.
Right.
100%.
Yeah, I'm excited to talk about Chili's and Dave and Buster's and just, you know, middle America in 2 weeks.
Times Square is where it's at. You'd love it.
Yeah, that was a little teaser. Uh,
So
no,
I
go ahead.
I was gonna say I kind of I mean actually I have to ask Willie, have we talked about all the art and everything? Can we talk about cool band stories?
I mean, yeah, if we're ready to go there,
Well,
yeah, I
just
mean, we can always sprinkle some art back in. There's
yeah,
no
no, you,
problem.
Eh.
I didn't.
I'm art. No, I think. Let me just check my notes here. Yeah, yeah. No, go ahead.
Hilarious.
What do you want to know?
I just wanted to know. I wanted to know what was the best tour experience and what was the worst tour experience.
Okay, so I have shot a lot of music. I still shoot some, right? There's still some that I do, but um, a lot of what I did it sort of towards the beginning of my career. So early 2000s, and at that time I had shot just about anybody, not everybody, but like 400 bands, that toured then. And what I learned very quickly is what best, worst, coolest person you shot. Like it's so subjective. It depends who I'm talking to. I remember
Who is
back
your
in the
Who is your favorite?
Who's my favorite? I like really vibrant, like front men. Like I like people. It doesn't need to be a man, it could be a woman, but like just people who are super colorful, and super confident and like own a stage. So like a Steven Tyler, right? Like literally, again, it's fashion, it's color, it's attitude. Like I think people like that. For me, a huge career highlight was Springsteen. I'm from New Jersey. Like that was I've shot him a few times, but I shot him at the MTV Video Music Awards outdoors, in New York City in the rain. The full band, they did a whole set in the pouring rain, in front of the Museum of Natural History by the planetarium, and that's just like a moment that I'll remember forever, and was thankful to be a part. I was also there for the sound check, and after watching a full sound check, he came over and was like, "How'd that sound?" And I like had to remove myself from that. I was like, "I'm not going to do well in this situation, so I'm just gonna go." Um, but there's been there's been a ton of these stories. I mean, I did tour a little bit. More of what I did was, just shooting night after night after night for stock. So when a magazine was looking for a photo, of fill in the blank, right? They'd look through my archive and I had just shot everybody or as many people as I could at the time. But I did tour. I did No Doubt's Greatest Hits tour, which was a lot of fun. She's also very charismatic and just a great, showman, so to speak. So that was fun. Most embarrassing thing that I don't mention often, is when I say worst touring stories. I did a string of on the. I'm going to qualify this. Just hear me out first. I did a string on the uh, Nickelback Three Doors Down tour, but I wasn't shooting Nickelback. So I just want to I just want to throw that out there.
Job's a job.
Money is money. Music is music.
Yeah.
But it's not much better to say that I was touring with Three Doors Down for a minute.
I wasn't gonna say it. I wasn't gonna say anything, but still, okay.
You're all thinking it. We're all thinking it. It's fine.
Oh yeah, we're definitely all thinking it.
Judge
Oh
it,
my
please.
God, that's so funny. Nobody in the world loves Nickelback. Anyways,
They actually asked. They were like, "Oh, do you want to shoot us too?" And I was like,
oh, that's
maybe.
a loaded question.
Yeah, yeah, right. I will say, like at the time, I was a kid, right? And I didn't know half of what I was saying or walking into. I wasn't quite as confident as I am now. And there's just like a lot of just ridiculousness that ensues because of it. Somebody asking me, "Oh, what do you think of this band?" I'd be like, "Oh, yeah, they suck." And I'd be like, "Hi, I'm the drummer." I'm like, fuck, like I did that a bunch of times. Then learned that lesson and was like, not going to do that again. And then I was, it was the band that nobody cares about now. But the guitar player was like, "Oh, what did you think of our set?" And I was like, "Oh, it's great. I liked it." Because now I know, never say anything bad. I didn't really care. I was working. And then he was like, "Oh, well, what was your favorite song?" No fucking clue. Like, so I was said, "Oh, the one where you screamed a lot." That was the best I could come up with. Like, so, that was all kind of fun. Um, life on the on the road stuff.
So,
But I was really thankful.
so
Like,
are you saying it's a lot easier to shoot somebody who you are a big fan of?
No, not necessarily. There's things that are easier when you know an act, a musician, like what hand they hold the mic in, like how they move. Like some of it is for me, it became a little easier if I'd shot somebody numerous times and I could get like the cadence. Like it's not necessarily about
And then
like the smooth.
left side of the stage or right side of the stage or something like that.
Yeah, well,
Also,
they're gonna jump at this point. They're gonna do this thing, like right,
mm.
like they're the lighting's gonna suck. It's gonna be in a club, like you know what gear you want to bring, or like no, it's gonna be a big production. And to your point, like they favor this side, and so you would learn things over time when you worked with certain people, and then there's great musicians that aren't great performers that like just sit on a stool and close their eyes and you can enjoy the show. You just know that it's a different shoot, right? But I feel really thankful. I mean, I spent a lot of time out in front of a stage, like with elbows on a stage, like best seat in the house, right? Like right up, like basically on the stage. And it was a great experience, and I loved every bit of it. Like to have thousands of people behind you, screaming, is intoxicating also in its own way. And I feel like I learned a lot from working with big personalities. I learned a lot about you know filtering out distractions, and also riding the energy. I mean, a lot of stuff that I use for my projects now, right? No different than being in New York and like focusing and waiting for that definitive moment. And there's there's a cadence of walking, just like there's a cadence of strumming, or movement, and moving. I kind of see it all sort of similarly. But yeah, I'm like I feel really, really grateful also to have seen as much music as I saw. I mean, not even for free, but being paid for it, and a lot of stuff that I think is historic, and stuff at this point. I spent a lot of time working for like hip hop stations and stuff in Boston, and like things in places and rooms that I wouldn't have necessarily like put myself. And I think that still like affect me now, just to have gotten that education that I maybe wouldn't have gone after on my own. And funny because as Billy was asking, I actually think I've shot Jay-Z more than most people, probably 5 6 times that I've shot him.
I
And
was
just
totally joking about Jay-Z.
I know. I mean, I which was what made it awesome from my perspective. But yeah, that was to be a college kid and to literally be on a stage like that, was great experiences. Still I look back at that stuff fondly.
Not many people in the world get to do that.
No, and it's like, I think it's a sacred trust. It's not an easy thing, and it's not like a one size fits all. It's not like a turnkey thing. Like, you can't throw somebody else into that position once you've established trust, in whether it's with an artist or a label or a radio station. Those jobs really take a lot of massaging and nurturing and trust building, and also good photography, on top of it too.
So do you get to spend a lot of time with the artists and the bands after a shoot or before a shoot, like in
Um,
the green room and all that, or is it kind of like in and out sometimes?
a lot of it's in and out. So there's a lot of it I think that sounds sexier than it is. A lot of it, back in the day would be like, get to a venue, wait around for a long time, right? Go shoot what was often 3 songs, in a specified designated area, and then get the fuck out because you were on a deadline for, whatever magazine or newspaper you were there for. Um,
Because
so
you need to edit and get it all out by that night so that they can edit the article
Yeah,
almost.
so if you were there for a newspaper, like a daily newspaper, you had to then go to the newsroom and whether that was develop your film and get that, scan that negative, or whether that was, digital. And you still like it made sense to get all that stuff fixed up and ready on the wire. So if somebody wanted to feature that stuff. Like, it's how you made money. So when I was working for my agency or when I was working for publications, you often left. If I was working for a label or a band, like, it's different. Then you might also be hired to shoot the meet and greet after, where like the VIP, fans or like, would get to take pictures with the artist, and then you'd be back there, and then it was a different situation, right? Or if you were working for a band, then you might be shooting press shots for them, or you might be following them to other things. Like, now I'm at the radio station shooting them on a radio show, or I'm following them around for more of a documentary type thing. I mean, it depended on the job. It varied a lot, a lot. And that also made it fun. Not always consistent, not always great. Like, there was tons of, times where, I was like in a pit somewhere and somebody come over and I want somebody kick the flash right off my camera, and part of the flash stayed on and part of it broke in half and on the floor. And you're like, fuck, well, that's expensive, as a kid. Like, unpredictable. And, plenty of times where you'd show up and your credential wasn't there. Or I was shooting, it was The Pretenders one time, and Chrissy Hine just decided she didn't want to be photographed. But she didn't decide that before we got in there. We were in the pit, we were halfway through a song, and she stopped the song, and then she pointed to all of us in there, and I don't know, had some choice words and just wasn't feeling it. And then everybody in the crowd started like yelling at us and throwing things. It's like, I don't know. You just don't know. I mean, that's life. I mean, that's kind of the fun of it, right?
It's rock and roll. Rock and roll.
Yeah, it is. It's character building, that's for sure.
Dude, that brings like okay. So I've got a two-part question, if I'm not interrupting.
Go for
it. First of all, as far as the work that you've done in regard to music photography, is there a shot or an instance that you've been able to capture that you're like, holy shit, it was like freaking like all the planets aligned, and this is like fucking amazing, and is like your like kind of favorite piece that you to date? And then to kind of follow that up, is there a kind of concept, context, angle, lighting situation that you're kind of like in the back of your head subliminally like hoping to kind of come across and be able to capture that in the future?
I don't know that I have like one shot. I certainly have stories or moments or things I'm proud of. In my early career, there was a moment with Jay-Z where he was on stage and he put his sort of, his head down and his hands up, and there were all these pyrotechs went off, and it's just him silhouetted, and you could tell it's Jay-Z and all the pyrotechs. And it's, forgetting necessarily just this one shot. For me, it was more representational because he liked it, right? He wanted one. And I was a kid, and just the idea of being like, what? And he wanted a print, and I was just like, Jay-Z wants one of my pictures. And I think I realized around that like, even though I'm just a small, short, like Jewish kid from at the time from New Jersey or living in Boston, I was like, you could, like, a camera opens a lot of doors and a lot of opportunities, and it's a tool. And if you're good with it, right, like, you could bridge a lot of divides. And so that was exciting. And then the label wanted it, and they wanted to put it on a billboard, and it ended up not happening because it's the whole long story that doesn't matter. But the fact that it almost did, right? So like, for me, that was just the understanding that I could make a career out of this, and that like Brooke, right, like, could be sought out and known for something. In more recent times, as far as like a photo I've taken more recently, John Batiste, I shot him just recently, and it just became an impromptu portrait. Like, I was there to shoot the live show, and it became, hey, do you want to come back and shoot portraits? And I was not set up for it. I didn't have any lights with me. I did not have like a portrait lens, like none of it. But it was like, you want it now, like snap your fingers and go. And that was a really great exercise to just have to think fast. And he's a very charismatic guy. He was wearing like a gold lame suit, and had a long lens, and I used to have nightmares as a kid that I'd be like backstage with Bob Dylan and have like a really, really, really long lens in a really small room and not be able to like get the photo in focus. And I
Can we
had
go
this
back out to the stage so I can shoot you from the back?
yeah, like I need to be far away from you to get this intimate portrait. Like that was such a nightmare of mine. I was like confronted with that for a minute. I was like, I have a long lens and I'm in a I'm in a backstage room and we have no lights, and like we pulled it off. Like I got this great shot of him like jumping off a couch, and like for me, like I'm not to my own horn too much, but it looks kind of like a Vanity Fair like center spread, and I'm just like, yeah, I got it. Fuck, like because part of it was just not being rattled, right? Like I've done this for a long time, and I think younger me would have been shaken by it, even just the opportunity, let alone to be like, you have 5 minutes, how do you want me, direct it, go. And you just like to think and then to like boldly go for it, and then to know my cameras well enough that while I'm talking to him, I'm setting, I'm moving my fingers around and changing my exposure and doing all this, so I don't have to waste that time too. Like I know my gear, and I know me, and like I'm confident enough to talk to him, and we can pull off a bit of magic. So I felt very good about that as to where I am in my career, and my abilities. So that's another photo that comes to mind, I think, quickly. Oh, and as far as what would be perfect, like the stars align, I mean, I think that I don't have any particular thing in mind that's like, it is this. I mean, part of the fun part is I've learned that if you go into a photo shoot and you plan it out, like it rarely happens the way, like in a studio environment, sure, but on a concert stage or even shooting portraits like in the street, right? Like I've got a great story for you. But like things change. So like you'd obviously want good light, and you'd obviously want a charismatic and cooperative person. And then what magic comes from that. But a fun story is, it wasn't that long ago, I got hired by LL Cool J to shoot his clothing line, Rock the Bells. He has this whole like streetwear thing. So I was doing mostly models, but then he came too, and he was one of my models. And so like in your head, you're like, well, if I have time to shoot LL, and we're gonna have you like run through all the things you're going to do with this person as far as pictures go. And we get out on the street, and within, I don't know, I want to say 2 minutes. 2 minutes, I think, is being generous. We're in Brooklyn, where nobody knows he's there. Nobody, the entire block just shut down. Like literally people started coming out of like, people are screaming, I love you, like LL, like people are like pushing me out of the way. I can't hear him to tell him how to pose. It is that loud. Somebody starts driving a car by and is it's blasting, like, doing it well. Like I can't even hear him. And within like 5 minutes, the whole thing is shut down, like done. And so it killed me for a really long time that like my entire opportunity to shoot him was chaos. Can't hear him. People are pushing me around, and whatever. I still got the shot. It's like, is it the greatest shot I've ever taken? Could it have been better if we would actually been able to communicate and he didn't get like rushed away by like security? Sure, it could have been better, but you know what? Like even in that time period, we worked it out. That was his Instagram profile picture for a good 6 months, was that shot that I took. So you go with it sometimes. Not ideal, but it's a great story. And you just you lean in.
How fucking yeah, dude! Holy smokes! Yeah, what was it, 120 seconds that all went down, dude. Okay, so a follow-up question: is there, in the same vein of music photography and live music photography, is there a piece that might have been like an inspiration piece that made you want to even get into the industry or try it out, or
Yeah, I mean, sure. I mean, yes. I mean, first off, as a kid, like I love music, like we all did, right? We all had our bands, and I subscribed to Rolling Stone and Spin and like all these, magazines too, and they were always, I loved them. I loved the feel of a publication and like and flipping through. Was really exciting to me. And for me, I also really liked, classic rock and these old, like the old issues of Rolling Stone, like the Baron Woman and the Annie Leibovitz and all these, like, there's just the stories of the road. And I think that like the access that people had back in the day, a lot of that's changed. It's not exactly the same business anymore. It is if you create a relationship with an artist or two, but it's not open anymore, right? It can't be. It's there's security and all this, but these like intimate views of like who these people were, it was very inspiring to me. And then as I became friends with bands, some of them who made it, some of them who didn't, like you tried and to push that forward, right, for the next generations and the next things, and just try and be a small cog in the history of rock and roll. Like it's exciting to have been out there and to be a part. That's a humbling thing. And as I look at in the room, I'm like, David, I see you there. David is my best friend, and he is a touring photographer on the road with Luke Combs, and like he has that ability, more, on a more profound level than I really did, like to create those relationships and then create like the history of. An archive of and a library of like just like the band's history, right, and like where they were in the musical landscape, and all of that I think is really exciting, to get to be even a small part of, like to be a historian. And for me, like I look at it that way. I look at like my New York City work as like a time capsule of the moments of New York, and I look at the past work when I was doing music, or even when I do it now, again, like that is something people care about, to create that archive and to be part of that story. I mean, that's amazing. I mean, I keep saying humbling. I don't think I can say that word enough. I mean, it's really inspiring, and it's really vibrant, exciting, and a thousand other words. To be able to make the smallest mark on history that way.
LL Cool J's profile picture. I mean, wow.
Yeah, very well. Though I will say, here's my sidebar to that. And I went to my teenage son, and I was like, "Oh, he's going to think I am." I was like, "Oh, mommy is the coolest." I would never say mommy actually to him, but like, your mom is the coolest. I am just brace yourself. Today I am working with LL Cool J, and he just looked me dead in the eyes and he just went, "Who?"
Yeah.
I've never felt so old in my life. The worst. Kids really, it doesn't matter who you are. Your kids really, they just bring you down.
Right. Yeah. Have you ever shot Blippi though? That's important.
My 4-year-old Blippi connoisseur. I have spent more time with Blippi over the last year than I would care to admit.
Yeah, I'm well aware of who Blippi is. We're in the same boat.
If you want to have after hours, me and you, a one-on-one like breakdown of Blippi, I'm here for it.
What the fuck is Blippi?
You just don't want to know.
That's a good time to mention. I don't know if I told you, but if you have somewhere to go, you feel free to take off whenever you want. We love having you. We love having you for all the time that you can give us, and we will be here for the next 4 or 5 hours. So
Some of us are going to need to sleep.
3 hours. But no, we just
Well,
we just tell you, we just want you to know that like you don't have to, you know,
I,
be here
if
with us if you have
there's,
something to do. But
yeah, if there's anything else you'd like to know, I'm
well,
certainly happy
that
to
that was
entertain
that
it.
was by no means trying to get you to leave at all or anything like that.
hell
It's
no.
just something we forget to mention and like kind of reset the room a little bit, make sure that everybody knows what's going on. So
You're not. You can leave when you want.
It's like the Hotel California.
That's
Like,
yeah,
yeah.
Mike. When we interviewed Mike Nash, we didn't know he would stay around for 4 months,
Holy shit! Well,
Yeah.
but
I'll
we
say
love him.
like
We love having him here every week.
the little experience that I have with New York and the Northeast and Canada and the Pacific Northwest and California. Yeah, that could have been taken as like an exit strategy, but knowing you guys, it was just like more of a hey dude, don't like feel like you have to stay up all night. We love you. Um, but I could see that. I don't know too much about all that, but I don't know. Do you get where I'm coming from?
Yes,
I,
sir.
it's an inviting place, and you're just here for the long haul now.
That's right. But it's like it's funny when we always bring that up. You don't have to stay if you got things to do or whatever. And it's like I don't know anybody that would stay and feel like they'd be forced to, right? They'd be like, God damn it! Like I said I'd be on this space, and they haven't told me I could leave yet. Fuck! I guess I got to stay.
No,
Right?
that was one of the things that got me because I was like so afraid, dude, to be freaking to talk about myself and like to be interviewed and all that. And I think it was Willie that was like, "Oh, dude, you can just like show up and like hang out for a few minutes, and that's cool, and you can peace out." And that made me like comfortable enough to even like try the whole experience.
Now
And
you
then
host your
and
own
then five
spaces.
and then 5 hours later.
You realize that you can't just do that. Like I was like, oh yeah, what do I have to do to become that? So um,
Now with
certainly,
Twitter, you can be though.
yeah, I totally did. Do I? Is this what you expected? I'm actually curious. Streetwalker is great. That she's fucking hot and amazing, I'll take that too. But like, whatever. It's nice for me to like, be known for something and to be seen for something and sought out for it. Like I'm just excited to be a part. So, there's, I think, up to 500 boxes can be, minted. And I think we've sold, there's like 300, a little over 300 that have sold so far. So that bodes well. I hope the rest of them sell. Yeah. And that's that. So that's a big thing right now. And again, right now, just the exposure on that and the new people that have found me that way has been really exciting. And so that's the big thing. Otherwise, like, with the market being the market, I haven't been releasing a ton. I've been collecting. I've been in Discord. I've been in communities. Like, I haven't gone anywhere. I've certainly been sharing work on Instagram and on Twitter, sort of hinting at stuff to come, but not overwhelming the market by throwing a ton out there right now. I think that people are scared and people are hurting, and the last thing I need to do is, is just release a lot. But there's a lot that I have to release and will be coming, that I'm really excited to share with everybody. And in the meantime, like I said, I try and be very accessible. A lot of my collectors DM me, and I show people what I've been shooting. Like, some of you in here that know me, it's not unusual for me to just like, DM a bunch of photos and just show what I've been thinking of and what I'm seeing and just wanting to share, that's still very fun and exciting for me too.
I really love that about this space, about like all the artists just wanting to show your work in progresses.
Hell, Laser Lou takes us into his closet, for crying out loud.
Oh yeah. Oh,
right.
There's nothing I like more than being in Lou's closet.
I
let
know.
Me tell you.
Lou, buddy, put a shirt on though.
No, never. That man can rock a tank top though, like nobody's business. But
it's the stash.
Yeah, exactly. No, I mean, but like with Bad Luck Club or with any other of the communities that like I'm in and a part of, one of the most exciting pieces of it, right, is to see everybody's works in progress, or to have a sounding board. Like, a lot of us are just working alone, right? Like, I'm out with the camera and like, I have people to talk to. I have friends that are photographers. I have my husband, like, what do you think of this? But it's also nice to have a community of artists and say like, this piece or this piece, A or B, black and white or color, like, just to be able to do that. And also with collectors, to hear what they like. It doesn't necessarily change what I do. I definitely have some collectors that ask for things that, nope, sorry, you can't have. But I do love that feedback. I mean, I'm used to, with client work, you send the gallery out, the roll out, and then you might not hear anything back. You just cash the check, right? That's success. Here it's nice to know that it's been displayed in some way. Like, I love it when somebody shows me like my picture up that they, own on a screen or, on a wall. That's super, it's amazing. Or to hear that something touched somebody in a certain way, or it's one of their favorite pieces. Like, I don't know, it's awesome to have that validation and that feedback and to put some of that into my head the next time I create as well. So it's organic that way at the NFT space.
It's instantaneous. Like real time.
Totally. I can shoot something and throw. I shoot, and then I like to sit on things and edit and doubt myself, a lot, and then, go back to something and, whatever. But I do like that every day, any day, like I can share, and I have a community of people, of which, whether that's, Twitter or whether that's, a Telegram group or whatever, like, here you go, guys, like, and to have that feedback and that conversation. I mean, to your point, like, not only is it instantaneous, it's not one way either, right? Like, you're gonna then go, well, this is what I'm working on, and that's what this person's wearing. It's so inspiring. Yeah. Really, I mean, this space is incredible.
It is. We hear that vibe and that sentiment all the time. about like the things that you're saying. It's just an amazing space and supportive and absolutely.
For
I
sure.
got a little lost in the
And that's
moment
why we
there.
love it.
Yeah, 100%. It's all warm and fuzzy inside. Anyway,
Staying kind of on that same note, and
warm and
I'm going to
fuzzy.
go back to something that was said in a previous space about Instagram. I'm just kind of thinking about those two things together. But um, did you use Instagram when it first came out as kind of that sounding board
Yes.
before you got into NFTs?
Yes, it's very different. I mean, it's similar, it's different. I still put stuff on up on Instagram. I also do a lot of, stories that are just my life. Like I think it's kind of fun to not only be able to share my work, but to be also be able to share like who I am. Um, but you know, Instagram was great as a photographer because it was a truly visual platform and,
Well, it was
just
it was originally designed for photographers,
yeah.
basically, like only for photographers, and then Facebook bought it, and we won't go too far down that rabbit hole of what they've turned it into. But
Yeah, and the algorithm changed and everything. But yeah, it was really inspiring to be able to see other people's works. There's a lot of Instagram photographers that I now see in the NFT space, which is fun. Like a lot of people like, oh, have you heard of this new photographer? And be like, oh yeah, no, I've been following them for freaking years, like on Instagram. But to see the world that way was great, and is. And the difference though is I would put things up and all I got in quotes was likes, right? Like I wasn't monetized. It wasn't a super easy thing to do. Um, it was just more of an ego stroke. So I got a like, I get another like. Oh, I got 1,000 followers, I get 5,000 followers. Whatever.
yes, and
And
how do you judge the critique? If like you say, if you're looking for a do you like this one over this one kind of thing, black or white or color,
yeah,
do you put them both up and whichever one gets the most likes? Because there's not a lot of conversation there, right?
there wasn't a ton of conversation. Sure, there's commentary. Sure, there are DMs, but for the most part, it wasn't easy to monetize. And it wasn't easy. And it's fine. Getting likes is fine, but photography is my business. Like, I love it. And I create photography whether I'm getting paid for it or not, often because that is who I am. I am an artist, and that just sort of like seeps out of me. But at the end of the day, that is how I pay my rent and feed my kids and like everything else that comes from it. And so I need to get paid for it. I mean, it's a job. It's an awesome job, but it is a job. And so with Instagram, you're like giving away all this content. And what you got back from it was like, good job. That's pretty. I'm going to screenshot that and make that my wallpaper. I mean, it was most of the way there. It was a lot of the way there. I did get some work and some jobs off of Instagram, but not a ton. The NFT space, has changed that. Now I can put out a photo, and if somebody appreciates it, and um, and buys it, throws a few tez in my direction, like I appreciate it. If you buy a streetwalker, like you are helping me shoot the next streetwalker. You know what I mean? It's almost like having patrons. And and I think for whatever reason with artists, like they feel this weird need to just be like, no, I just do it because I love it. I just want to make the world happy, and like there is that too. But like we also need to eat, right? And I don't think it should be such a dirty, weird secret that we want to be paid for our efforts and our um, and the hard work. Like you stand, in on a street for 6 hours to get the perfect photo. Like it's okay to say if you appreciate that, maybe put that in your collection. And Instagram didn't really help you do that so well. Maybe you could sell a print, maybe you could book another job, maybe. But I think that through Twitter, through Discord, through the platforms, like to sell now, like you just have that ability, to make it a sustainable thing to keep moving forward and to take that and to roll it into the next part of your project and the next piece. So it's become a different thing. I still like Instagram. I still scroll through it like everybody else. Um, so I don't have hate towards it. I just appreciate that there are other tools now in my arsenal, to use to help me, monetize and then continue my work and my projects.
Right. I think that's a really great point too that you bring up, and I think you're only like the second person to say it on our space about, if you're supporting, well, then you're actually allowing me to create more. Like not a lot of
Totally.
people, yeah, maybe they don't want to admit it, maybe they just don't think about it, maybe they just doing it for fun, and like, because most artists we talk to aren't full-time NFT artists. Maybe Mike can chime in here. But they've got other jobs and things like that, or there's a few that are real world full-time artists.
But
But
there's a lot of weird shame attached with saying that, like, I do art for money. I think that we're conditioned to, like, but you would do it for the love of it anyway. And you might. It doesn't have to be only one, right? Or like it just pours out of me, or I just felt so inspired. And like you need that aspect too. Um, but for me to be able to be out on a street on a weekday shooting for X amount of hours means that money needs to come from it, so that I'm not stuck, maybe in an office or a store or somewhere else instead. Like I have to work, and a lot of make goes back into equipment. It goes back into, again, like my expenses being paid so that like then I can that's what my office hours might look like, leaning on the hood of a car waiting for the right person to walk by. It's a little untraditional, but like I'm really thankful that that's my job. And I don't feel bad saying it, even though I think it takes a lot. It's also hard to say you're an artist, right? Like if you're like a doctor, you like go to college and you residency, you like med school and residency and all, and then you get a certificate and you get to put that diploma on your wall. When you're an artist, you need to just be bold enough to like get out there and be like, I'm an artist. Like there's no qualifications.
Dude,
I feel like
dude,
James Hetfield really ruined that for you guys when he was bitching about stealing songs from Napster.
dude,
They're like, dude, you're
dude,
you're the industry though. So I think he really ruined it for the littler guys, even though I think smaller musicians are better off now. But anyways,
I was gonna
yeah,
say
no,
I
I
was gonna
think,
say that I
I
used to.
think,
Go ahead, Mike.
no, I was gonna thank, or communicate that, yeah, smaller musicians, artists coming up, we've got a shot, I guess. But also, yeah, when art and creativity and when it all becomes an industry, I don't know. It seems like there is like this like underlying like stigma. Like if you're having a good time doing what you're loving, then uh, then like it's okay. If I don't know, coming from like a freelance world or a design for hire world or an art centric kind of business, yeah, it's like, oh, you're not coming home at the end of the day complaining, so therefore you're not, uh, putting in the work, or you're, if you're loving what you're doing, I don't know, at least in the American South Bible Belt, it's like this weird thing. It's like if you're like super excited and loving what you're doing, and you're not beholden to anybody, then it's like, well, okay,
it's like shamed.
Yeah, something like that, man.
Yeah, I'm definitely with
and
you.
that's bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's all these weird narratives that like you're just sort of taught. It's like, and this artist didn't even get recognition until after they were dead. And like that's like a weird romantic story, or like, this person, like they had all these muses and they did it for a woman, or they did like there's all these things that artists do art for that aren't money. You know what I mean? Like in the stories that you're heard and you're told, they were destitute and went crazy and cut off an appendage and ended in a mental hospital. And but look at it's in MoMA. Like it's strange. You know what I mean? And then there's also these weird takes on commercial artists, and I think there's room for both. Like I said, the first piece I bought was The Currency by Damien Hirst, and he's revered and he's hated. Like it's well, I mean, there's reasons why I feel both for him, but like, but there's all these big studios where you're like, they're not artists because they monetize their work. They're not artists because 50 people work for them, in a studio, and they're the ones that assemble the pieces. Like it's so weird the way we look at it when people start to have success, and it becomes like, like somebody I look up to very much, Cause, who's, I collect Cause's pieces, and love it. It'd be like, oh, those are toys, those are art toys, or that's commercial. Because, and it's strange when artists get success, right? Like what we do to them. And then the aspiration is to get the picture like on the wall of the museum. It's not like the the payout, or it's a strange thing. And then as an artist, you think, well, then success is not measured in money, and nor does it have to be, right? I'm not saying that I'm only in this, for monetary reasons, but like we feel embarrassed and weird when that's one of those reasons, because I don't know, it's just how we treat art. It's like the first thing that gets cut from schools. It's like the thing that people don't want to pay the admission for to get into a museum. It's like, and at the same time, like that is what inspires people, like literally can move people to tears. Like imagine this world without music and art, and how boring it would be without graphic design, where you're like, trying to buy a product and all these things that we really value in our everyday existence. They're so to our core of like what humanity is. And then for whatever reason, we're like, yeah, but I don't want to pay for that. And it's also strange. You're like, I always laugh about it. Like nobody has a problem paying a doctor. And you would think they're the ones that should be the humanitarians. They're saving lives. They're giving health, right? Like they're sick. Like I shouldn't be like, oh, you're sick, but first pay the copay, right? But like that's just used to it. It's just baked into society. Like why a doctor can just be like, yeah, no, I don't take your insurance. Like why that's okay. But like an artist is like, oh, I'm embarrassed to say that I'd like to sell you one of my editions. It's 20 Tez. Like, it's like funny. Like it's just like it's a weird societal, like just baked in. So I don't know. Like I said, but I'm thankful that through the NFT community, I can go out there and say like, please buy my thing. It's 20 Tez, and with that, you'll help feed my family, and then I can keep creating my project, and then I can be here and I can spend my time in a Discord or on a Spaces, being mildly entertaining, and maybe give you some value and some thought as to how I think, and be accessible.
Well, and then like you even start to have infighting within artists as far as like, well, AI is not real art, and things like that. And it's like, well, yeah, it is.
Yeah, I think it's a
Just a
tool
tool.
like anything else.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a tool. I mean, and by the way, like I don't even care if people hate what I do or people hate AI or whatever. It's not bad to have opinions about art. Like I will walk through, like I love MoMA, and I'll be like, I'm not such a fan of like, Twombly or whatever, some random painter. That's okay, but it makes me feel something. It may make me feel like this is bullshit, but like at least I feel something, right? Like
Yeah,
that's okay.
there's definitely some art that I don't get. I'm like, that's not for me. Country music.
And that's
Big
they're
is a
right.
big one, but
which is totally fine, right? Like that's okay.
But I
and
don't put them down like they're not artists.
right. I think just like everything else, like something for everyone. I mean, maybe some is just bad, but like I think it's exciting though in this space to be able to find your clan and your community and to be able to have dialogue and you don't people don't have to see it my way. I have a lot of people that see my work and say your work validates why I would never want to live in New York City. I actually hear that a lot and it always makes me laugh. Like it's dirty and look at the walls, or like I couldn't do that, it looks chaotic. That's okay. This my New York is chaotic and I see the beauty in it. Like I love the
That's,
energy of it.
that sounds like American tourists in Europe. Just kidding.
Yeah.
I thought that was funny.
Yeah. No, it totally is like, so we'll be like, oh, this goes against my Midwestern, sensibilities. Okay, cool. Like I don't hate on that as an observation. It's okay. Like people don't have to love all art or understand it all. But again, I'm grateful that it elicits some sort of a reaction. Um, so, so yeah, I mean, this is sort of like a rambling all over the place thing to say is that, but I would say that like, the fact that the NFT world allows for community, conversation, monetization, like just all of it, opinions, like, it is a far away from where we were with just Instagram, which I think was a lot of just like, that's beautiful, that's beautiful, that's beautiful, which I still like. I still find that inspiring. There are ways I use Instagram to this day. Like if I'm traveling to a city, I will geographically try and say like, oh, well, we're all going to be in Miami in a few weeks. Let me see what's down there. And it might give me a spot. Like I want to go shoot that place. I want to shoot, like I want to put my spin on that facade. Like, again, it's exciting and it's
Okay,
inspiring and a tool.
after we're done helping Lou set up his lasers, we're gonna follow you around the city.
100%. Although I probably want to help Lou set up his lasers too.
Yeah, that's what I said after we're done helping.
Okay. Just checking.
Oh,
just
this will be
check.
fun. This will be like a parade.
Just if we're all gonna get in Lou's closet together.
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 I hope he's got a space. I don't know. We haven't talked to him in a couple of weeks. I don't know if he's got a space yet or not. But
Well, I will be there.
Hey, speaking of which, Lou, I hear there's a giant office building in Miami that's probably open that FTX just bought a couple weeks ago. It's probably clean by now.
Hey Lou, maybe you could set up in the bathroom.
Every Airbnb has a bathroom.
Yeah, I have one. Lou, if you want to come up, you're welcome.
Lou knows why that's funny too.
Did you hang out with a rat trail?
That's a different party.
Okay. Anyways, didn't mean to get too off track there.
I was wanted to circle back to Studio Brooke reminded me of back when I used to lay on the hood of cars, waiting for the right person to walk by to make a little money.
Yeah, I think that's how we met. That's literally how we met. That was the best $20 I've ever spent. So thank you.
It was it was fake too, I think.
Not for me. Very real.
Oh yes, the experience. Yes. So I think the fake 20.
Oh yeah. No, that was definitely not real.
I was just going to say, if anybody else that's in here right now, has any questions for Studio Brooke and you wanted to pop up, feel free to request. Because it looks like a pretty safe, safe, dangerous bunch in here now.
Yeah,
sure.
I had to weed somebody out earlier, but it's all right. That's why we do this.
Well, for sure. If anybody has any questions, I'd love to take them. And then at some point soon, I am jumping off because my 4-year-old is going to wake me up, probably with the words "Blippy," sooner than I would like.
Yeah, I guess you're at like just after 11 o'clock there now.
Yes, it's like 11:20.
Whew.
While we wait to see if anybody has any questions and wants to come up, am I the only one that when I hear the term streetwalker, thinks street prostitute.
That would be the point.
Not at all.
That is the point.
I mean, look, I wanted something short, and I wanted something catchy, and I wanted something that was on brand for anybody that knows me and my personality. And that's to be a little witty and sardonic and a little sarcastic. So I mean, Streetwalker to me, when it hit, like when it clicked in, just it made me laugh. So I was like, all right, sold. And it's memorable. For sure. And that's sort of what all of us artists are in some ways, right? Right. We're prostitutes. But no, for me, it's just more of a tongue in cheek, you know, look at my project. And again, very on brand if for anybody who's been listening to me for more than 2 minutes.
I just don't see that in the photography itself for that project. I mean, I haven't looked at it super extensively, but
no,
like,
I mean,
I'm not seeing prostitutes in the pictures. You know what I'm
I'm
saying?
sorry. That's the private collection. No, I mean, like they're just street walkers, like on the most literal sense.
Yeah.
But if you want to peruse my prostitute collection, we can do that on my OnlyFans.
I was gonna say on OnlyFans, right? My wife texted me and said she thinks of streetwalkers as zombies.
Ooh,
So I guess
like
I'm not
that.
the only one.
I like it. Yeah. No, I mean, like I said, for me, there's an amusement factor, and a lot of times, the hardest part is naming a piece for me. Like the photography can sometimes be, even with all the like variables I laid out, like the photography can be the easy part, and then like naming it and categorizing it and deciding what piece when is actually as much of the art and can be harder and drives me nuts. So and then like when I hit like the name and if it amuses me like and it makes me smirk, I'm like, yep, that's it. Like that's as thought out as it is sometimes.
Yeah, I like it.
Just name it after the hard drive it's on.
Indeed. Well, are there no
stick.
questions? Is do I intimidate you all? Come
I'm
on.
not seeing anybody wanting to come up. Maybe you answered them all
I
already.
think it's I mean, like, where do you even
I
start
still
with a
have
question?
a ton of questions about Jay-Z, but I'm just too embarrassed to ask him. I just don't know anymore.
We can one-on-one some of that. We can work it out.
It's all good.
Yeah, we'll get that answered later.
It's so cool when Willie said that he had you coming on, because a lot of the time, like, one of us or both of us won't really even know much about the artist that we're having on for the space. And I was like, he's like, yeah, Studio Brooks coming on, blah blah, and he was like and I was like, yeah, whatever, okay, and I'm like, well, I guess I better go look up who Studio Brook is. But the cool thing that I thought when I actually like jumped on Twitter and looked around, it was like, oh, yeah, I have seen you kicking around here and there, and I've looked at your stuff, and I thought that was kind of cool.
That makes me happy.
That
makes me happy. Like I never know what, like, nobody ever really knows, I think, what impact they do or don't have in the space. So it's fun when somebody has like, visited me, seen my work, seen me around the Discord, and like, then like comes around to it and realizes that even later. And that it's exciting to me, right? Like the reach that you have, like even around the world, right? And the different communities. So but thank you. It's exciting. And I'm glad that there's, that have crossed your radar in some way. And again, I'm also glad for the ability to then like come in and share. I don't take that for granted. It's nice to have that, the ability.
Yeah. And I was going to say, and now I can say also, super big fan.
I mean, clearly.
Obviously.
Have you met me? No, thank you. No, literally, like from the bottom of my heart. No, thank you. It's very exciting to me when people like my work and what I'm up to and my vision, because it's me, right? Like, so I feel like what makes this an authentic project and what makes this recognizable is that it's me, right? Like this is a good component of who I am. It's how I see the world, and it's exciting when people like how I see it. And I appreciate that. Like really, it's overwhelmingly touching when I get good feedback as to the art that I'm inspired to share and create.
Absolutely. And no questions still? No more questions? No? You're there. It's because everybody's blown the fuck away.
I think that. I think they're also intimidated.
Yeah.
I mean,
I
no,
am.
I'm just
I've been
kidding.
sweating bullets this whole damn. I'm like, thank God she's still talking, because if I have to talk, I don't know how I can do it.
No, I can normally fill space. There are a few people out there that I feel like are good at filling space, and that I'm impressed by, right? Like I think there's some projects we know where the the artist is very good at filling space, and I can just aspirationally try. So,
It makes
I appreciate.
it makes for a great guest. I'll tell you that, 100%. Although, you know what? I don't think we've ever had any artist, honestly, that we've had to, even the ones who quote unquote are shy and never been on a space or whatever, like, and then next thing you know, it's like 3 hours later, 4 hours later, they're still talking. It's like, wow.
Yeah,
They're just
we've never
stuck.
had to pull teeth, if
No,
you will.
no, definitely not.
No, you guys are very easy. You're very friendly and you're
I've been
very
told
open
that before.
and it's an inviting space.
I mean, you
So
did our job for us today, though. So
well, I just in case I was hedging my bets and I thought I better,
Bring
better have
the
a
A game.
No, this is just I also feel like I know you guys, honestly. Like, so there's a bit of that too in here. I mean, Willie, I feel like we've been hanging out in the same like room for a bit now, so like it's not a scary, intimidating thing, being in the same sort of like community pool as you. So that
Yeah.
also made this.
yeah, for sure.
And
For sure.
especially when you asked me, like part of me was like, oh yeah, of course. I mean, if somebody like in my circle wants something, I'm in. It's great.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Man, we know
100%.
we know some cool fucking people, Willie. I'm just gonna say.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's I'm having a hard time finding new people.
Or
That's
is it new people or is it cool people?
New people that are also cool. I
That's
guess.
all right. There we go.
Yeah.
You gotta leverage the community.
I got you, homie.
Well, there's also that are in the time zone that can do our space. That's also
there's
somewhat of a problem. There's definitely some cool people over in Russia and some other places in the world, but whether they're available at this time is a different aspect.
The hardcore ones are the Red Bull drinking Raven motherfuckers. They're out there right now going, yeah, man, I'll talk on your space right now.
Yeah.
You just need like the Indonesian group, right? Who's like the morning. They can just wake up and like roll right into your space.
Yeah, I saw Jamin in here earlier.
I was
Shout
so
out Jamin Noodle.
excited. I was so excited, fellow monster,
but
to see him in.
The problem with them is like because Dan Williams, who's not in here tonight, is usually in here is our Australian artist friend, and he's at work.
Yeah.
So he's like, well, I can't speak. I can listen because I can listen at work, but I can't speak
I
because
think
I'm at work.
when he was
You need to get constant on here. Constant flux.
constant.
That's
flux.
that's my nomination for a good dude.
Okay.
Australian.
Flux, yeah, I like Flux's work. I've only seen some of his. I've only seen the piece he did with you and the piece he did with Proteon. The two pieces I'm familiar with.
Yeah, I mean he's an awesome street artist and he's just a good guy, like
Who's
as well.
Proteon? No, just kidding. Sorry.
Well, we've got Pong coming on sometime before the end of the year. We just haven't nailed down the date yet.
Well, that's also exciting as somebody else I've met in real life. So both
And
there, I see you in here, Pong.
And we've got I don't know if I can actually say yet because I don't have it 100% nailed down, but I have been giving out some hints. There's been another a very, very big artist coming on soon.
Sounds like rhymes with
Orange.
No, not with orange.
starts with the number.
Starts with the number 4.
They're in the space. No, we got lots. We got loads coming up. We got to get through Christmas. We got to get through Miami first.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see who survives Miami.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you betcha. I sure am happy I got my that flu out of the way. Like I'm happy that happened over the last week and not when I'm supposed to be jumping on my flight to Miami.
Yeah, that is definitely a fear of mine. Like I just like nobody breathe on me until after Miami.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty psyched. I'm pretty psyched to see a lot of the people in this room down
Yeah,
there.
I'm going to Vegas 2 days before, so
Yeah, you're doomed.
Fucking
hoping I'll be all right.
Willie's liver's just gonna fall out.
Yeah, I got another one lined up. It's all right.
You can buy one of those nowadays.
That's why you make kids. You always got to back up.
Yeah, see,
That's not why I make kids.
No. I love my kids.
I was gonna
say, spare parts.
Spare parts.
Yeah,
that's smart thinking. It's the future. Damn it! I only have a dog. I think I'm screwed.
If you need a liver, you might be. Yeah.
And I guess it depends what you need, right?
Yeah, I guess so. Oh yeah. I could lick my own butt though.
It's so funny. But yeah, no, I mean, again, thanks for having me, guys. This was awesome. I'm really appreciative. I can't say that enough. This was a ton of fun. Thank you for indulging me and allowing me to just, ramble on.
Man.
Of course, thank you. Anytime you want to come back and want to promote something or whatever,
Yeah, don't offer that because likely I will. I'll be like, oh, what am I up to? It's a Tuesday. All right, this.
Absolutely, pop on in and do it. Like, no, you're more than welcome. You can come in here and have the mic anytime. We definitely mean that. That's definitely an open invitation.
I can have the literal mic.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
He doesn't mind giving up his spot too much.
You're going to end up with yet another host. Like every time you're going to just keep adding on for like
sure. All of a sudden we can't have any listeners in the space. We're all freaking hosts.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no more room.
Nobody can get a word in.
Moving it to there's another way to do it where you can like all talk. Let's start moving it to that.
There you go.
But it's going to be nobody that's new. It's just going to be everybody the same old. It's nice to see you all guys all again.
Same stories over and over and over.
But if they're about Jay-Z, maybe that's okay.
Well, maybe.
Yeah, hell yeah, man. Yeah, it's like Tuesday, like poker night in the basement, man. And we'll talk war stories and figure it all out. Solve all the problems.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Brooke, for coming. Like, that was an amazing, I was a little under the weather over the last few days, and I was pretty tired at the beginning of this space. I wasn't sure what capacity I'd be here in, but you've invigorated me. I enjoyed listening to you. I enjoyed listening to the spirit that you have for what you do and the amazing side stories that came along with it. It's just been a total treat for me. 100%.
Thanks again, and please follow me on whatever. But and I just say this to anybody in this space, like anybody can always send me a DM or I have my normal stomping grounds where I am in Discord, and I'm pretty easy to find. And I'm always looking for friends in this space, and just because it's an inspiring place and it's an intoxicating thing to be able to talk to people about what I love and what they love to do. So I just want to if I was to leave with any message, it's just that I'm very approachable and approach me. I always love to hear and to make new friends. So that is it. I'm done. I'm out of words.
I don't know about that.
You've broken me. No, that's a lie. I could do this for another 4 hours, but.
We're going to have you
but
back.
But Blippy comes early.
Oh, yeah, Blippy comes early.
Blippy does, yeah. I have so much to say about Blippy that I am not going to. I'm not going to get canceled off of my Blippy, opinions.
Don't say anything bad about Blippy. Maybe Twitter will rug us if we do that.
But don't Google him too hard because there's definitely stuff you don't want to see that's out there. Or do. I don't know. Depends on your...
I'm
Oh, if you're a parent, you definitely want to know.
The fuck is...
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, there's a Blippy dive that every parent has done.
Yeah, oh yeah.
The fuck is Blippy? Oh,
If you don't have kids, Vince, you don't want to know.
yeah, I know it looks terrible
Yeah.
already. I'm not even like hearing the audio, and I'm like, yeah, okay, never
My wife
mind.
again is texting me things about Blippi
That man, though, like, he has
that
made
I won't say on a recorded space.
I'm sure I agree with your wife.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. The deep dive.
Alrighty then.
Yeah.
Lippy deep dive.
All right. Well, thank you
Wait.
guys. I'm gonna run because, like I said, I've got to parent and be semi reasonable in the morning. So again, thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Peace out. Have a good
Bye.
night. Bye. I think she's waiting for us to kick her out. We'll just like boot her,
Nah, we're not gonna kick her out.
bounce her ass out, Willie. No. Wow.
What's hard is when they keep listening, but then leave their their PFP in there, and then keep listening. I'm like, well, I thought you were leaving. Like, which one is it?
Yeah.
You don't want to talk to us anymore?
Hurry, leave. We want to talk shit about you. No.
Yeah.
Never. That has never ever happened. Not once. Well, not to any of our guests, anyways. But not even most.
No,
of
we
our
wouldn't have
listeners.
them on if we wanted to talk shit about them.
Hell no. Well, maybe someday. Maybe that's the route we'll have to go when we run out of anything else to talk about. We'll have to go the fucking Jerry Springer route and.
Okay.
Start.
Well, I know who our first guests are going to be.
Well, I just stay up and with you guys long enough to where y'all get tired and have to end it, and so you don't have an opportunity to talk shit.
Oh, there you go.
And then sometimes we get rugged, and I see Mike still tweeting 3 hours later. They were just having a conversation in a tweet, in someone else's random tweet. No, the first guest we would have on if we wanted to just talk shit would be somebody from the world of round net. If you don't know what this is, it's spike ball, but apparently spike ball's the brand, and they couldn't call it spike ball, so they had to call it round net.
Oh,
If you don't know what spike ball is, just be thankful.
Did you just discover spike ball? I wanted to ask you about this because this is.
I just discovered that it's on ESPN. That's the difference.
Oh, is it on ESPN or ESPN2?
Oh, it's on 2.
Yeah.
Apparently
Okay.
it gets live broadcasts on 3. I don't even have 3. I don't even know what the fuck. I didn't know there was a 3.
Okay. I just looked up spike ball and yes. Okay. I didn't know what it was called, but yeah, I've seen them playing this at the beach at the cabin.
Yeah, I've known of the game, but I've never played it or anything. But I'm like, this is like a thing now, though. Okay, all right.
I guess so.
Oh, and then I got on. If you dive through my Twitter there, you'll see some conversation. It's all pleasant. You'll see some conversation with me and some round netters.
Round.
So
is that like a whole nother league?
That's the league. The league is round net.
Gotcha.
Because spike ball's the brand,
Yeah,
right?
all right, gotcha. Yeah.
I was very adamantly told this on Twitter the other night.
Yeah, well, if you're going to be told, it'll be on Twitter.
Yeah. Well, I went searching for it though. I went poking the bear, if you will.
Yeah, I totally get all your tweets now. I understand. I understand now. You were poking the bear. You were.
Yeah, I was poking the bear.
And you knew there had to be somebody out there that was going to fucking take it. Take that bait.
I had some fun.
I'm going to have to try that now. Spike ball. So did I mention it was -8 Fahrenheit here this morning? Just,
You did.
Yeah. It's fucking cold,
Yeah.
And it was funny when Poke was, I can't remember if it was in one of our spaces or if it was in Discord, but when we were talking about, he was talking about, oh, well, in Miami in the winter, in the winter time, it gets cold at night. Like the temperature drops at night. It gets cold. And I was like, well, how cold is cold? And then he told me in Fahrenheit. And then I was like, oh, that's like, 19 degrees Celsius. That's fucking shorts weather up here, buddy. I can't remember what he said it got at.
Yo, dude, it's sometimes it's and not to brag, but it's sometimes it's hard to remember that it's the middle or Sunshine Coast of South Florida.
Are you still wearing shorts, Mike?
Every day that I don't have to like meet someone and shake their hand, I'm in shorts, which is funny because I was never a shorts dude. I'd be that dude in jeans with white legs, but but yeah, dude. No, I actually have a tan now.
I'm asking because I got to start packing next week, so I want to, I plan on packing for shorts and flip flops weather.
Fuck.
Yeah, most of the time, dude. There's definitely opportunities to to doll up, get a little dapper. I know my homie Paper, man, he's one of the most stylish dudes I know in the space. And I take cues from him. But yeah, dude. Yeah. Sometimes I don't know. I mean, if you're used to frost and freezing and all that, yeah, I wouldn't worry too much.
I'm not going to be. I know this is going to be beautiful. Or it'll be the one fucking time I'll come down there and it'll be like, oh, it was the coldest temperatures recorded in Miami in recent history.
Home Alone 2 where it snows in Miami.
Oh, fuck. Yeah, I'll bring that with me. That'll be.
The water would still be warm and clear, and we could just hang out, in the surf.
There we go. Live like manatees. Oh, nobody likes
good
manatees.
Idea. No, I liked it. I was just thinking about the lazy river I want to put in my backyard so I can actually do that.
Oh, that'd be nice. Your own personal lazy river.
Wouldn't it?
Oh.
Better than a pool.
Yeah, I think so.
Because then if you wanted to like swim for exercise, you just swim upriver.
Yeah. Always be a different view.
Yeah.
Lazy river. You got the space. Do her. Get her done, man.
I know, I got a nice blank canvas too.
Yep. We got to do some renovations at Willie's house.
Yeah, we got to spray my back wall and put in a lazy river.
Yeah. Speaking of renovations,
and build a giant shop.
My mom's coming to visit next week. She's staying at my sister's, so I'm lucky in that, but she's coming to my house to clean and organize. She's like, well, I just want to come and clean and organize. I'm like, okay, whatever you want to do on your time off, Mom. Come on down. I'm excited. I'm going to take it, though. Everybody loves to have a mom's touch. Maybe she'll make my bed. Give me those fresh mom sheets. Like just all tight. Anyways, let's getting excited there. She'll probably cook me dinner. Oh,
there you go.
Yeah. I'm living in.
What's your like go-to mom's cooking me dinner meal that you want her to cook you?
Huh, there really isn't one. She does a pretty damn good job with like fucking anything. Mom make a peanut butter and jam sandwich and it'd be the best damn peanut butter and jam sandwich you ever had. So, yeah, back in the day it would have been. Yeah, I don't think she ever had any kind of thing that I was like totally head over. Oh, well, no, her shepherd's pie. That's, yeah, okay. But I don't know if that was more because like it was the most amazing shepherd's pie or the fact of that she just hardly ever made it because it was such a pain in the ass to make.
Yeah. Yeah.
Me, it would have been French fries.
I was just asking to see if it was like inherently Canadian.
Oh, yeah, no.
Like something weird Canadian, like I don't know. Potato chips with ketchup on it or something.
I used to like ketchup potato chips when I was a kid, but I can't stand them anymore. I don't think they're good at all anymore.
That's something we don't get down here.
No, and it's really funny because like some people are, the Americans get crazy flavors, and then the Americans are all like, you Canadians have crazy flavors. I think it's just equal, right? It's just 180. Like,
yeah, it's just
like we don't get biscuits and gravy chips here.
Hello.
Are you there? Did we lose Willie?
No, I got you now.
All right.
I thought I was doing that thing where I couldn't hear anybody though.
Yeah, well, it hasn't happened to you yet, this space, so, I mean, you're kind of overdue, I guess. But yeah,
Right? I better switch my headphones now.
biscuits and gravy chips. I remember I got those once. They were all right.
Yeah, but that probably happened like
Biscuits
once.
and gravy chips.
Um,
That doesn't sound
I
too
don't know.
bad.
Like, are these ketchup
I always get
flavored
hungry though because
potato chips,
I haven't
or
eaten
are
all
you
day.
dipping your
I'm
potato
out
chip
here
in
at like dinner
ketchup?
time, through dinner time
I
until
don't-
11
I
o'clock
don't-
at night doing
Hey-
the space.
Hey, Willie, can you hear us, Willie? Willie? No, I
I
think.
can hear you.
Oh, can you? Okay. I was just. Could you
Okay.
hear? Could you hear Mike Nash?
I did not.
Oh.
I changed my headphones out. Let's see.
Okay. Well, so
What you got,
I was
Mike?
gonna answer Mike's question. Yeah, no, it's ketchup flavored chips. We're not actually dipping the chips in ketchup. What do you think? We're weird?
Well, no, that's worse, dude.
What?
I mean, you know, if all you got some chips and some damn condiments, I mean, you're going to make that shit worse. But you're going to actually manufacture a potato chip that's flavored like freaking ketchup. Now that worries me.
You know, I'm gonna tell you, man. Now that we're talking about it, right? Like, it's not really. They don't taste exactly like ketchup does out of the bottle. Like, it's definitely a little bit of a zestier kind of flavor to it. Maybe I'll bring down a couple of bags of ketchup chips down to Miami, and we can all try them out. They'd probably just be fucking dust by the time
Hey
I
man,
get there.
I'll try anything once.
Except for jumping out of a plane.
No, sir. No, not on the list. Unless it's a better shot at survival, I guess.
There you go. There's always options. There's always a threshold that somebody will go across.
Everybody's got a price, I guess.
That's right. Oh, Willie requested to speak. I don't know if we should let him in. Let's get him up here. We lost Willie. Willie coming back. I sent you permission. Oh, he went back down again.
Oh, I'll just sit here and be entertained.
Oh, there you go. No. You must work.
Learn that from Pope. No, I'll just hang out, relax, listen to you guys.
It's going to be cool to see what artists end up jumping in on that Wag Me Wine bottle contest. I mean, it's definitely worth it to get in there.
Yeah, I'm going to throw my hat in the ring.
Yeah, you might as well. I should try too. I should go under a pseudonym.
Yeah, just go under you. I'm going to tell you right now, though, the design I have in my head, not much different than the WX8BK contest token.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Except maybe
Not a whole lot different than the pencil. Just saying.
Yeah, except it'll be a wine glass crudely drawn.
Yep. Don't got a lot of tricks up there.
Ah, you never know. People like that minimalist fucking shit sometimes, right?
Yeah, maybe that's my style that I'm developing.
Dude, well, it is, right?
That way you know that's a one wheel Willie. That's a one wheel Willie hand drawn.
Absolutely.
Or hand iPadded. What do you even say about that now?
Pad drawn? I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, it's still hand drawn. Really?
Right.
Yeah.
But it's not. I don't know. Mike,
Just-
I'd like to get your opinion on this one.
I think hand drawn is still acceptable if you do it on an iPad.
Do you want my opinion, man? I don't think it has much to do with the time it takes or your depth of experience or your toolbox. If you feel something and you want to communicate that, and you can communicate that effectively, and your voice comes through, it could be anything, dude. Like man, I'm still feeling your number two pencil, man. I mean, all the time, every day. I'm still thinking about ways that I can work that in to a piece.
Dude,
I just love your attitude, man. And like the way that you can inspire artists like that. Before you started saying that you like my number two pencil. But like, yeah, you have a very well way of putting things. A very good way of putting things.
Willie's going to quit his job
Um,
tomorrow now because of
but
that
that
and be an artist.
no, that wasn't even the question I was asking. That was the question I was more asking was, do we still call it hand drawn if it's drawn on an iPad? Like, or is there a new term for that? Is there a different term for that? That was more the question I was going for.
Oh, dude, there's all kinds of terms out there, and it's fun to play with them. Um, it could be digital art. Yeah, definitely hand drawn. If you use the stylus on a pad, uh,
Right.
man, we could get really fun and creative
Kind of
with the
kind of
creation
hand drawn
process.
digital.
Oh yeah, dude. I feel like that particular piece that we're speaking of is it's a hand drawn piece of art. That's where I'm going to put it.
Okay. Okay. All right. It just
I
seems
like
weird
that.
because it's like, you know, the 20 minutes I spent with the tools, part of it was acrylic, part of it was pen, part of it was like fountain pen, so it's weird to be like, oh, it's hand drawn. It's like, okay, well, like I guess maybe because you use,
Well, yeah, you use different brushes and different
yeah,
you know like a pencil and a paintbrush or yeah, or a colored pencil or a marker or an eraser. But yeah, I still feel that that's a hand drawn piece. That it wasn't a prompt or like a collage piece where you took an asset and then turned that asset into um, uh, an element of your work. Uh, that was like a hand drawn piece, dude. That's where I'm at.
all right,
Fuck. I couldn't have said it more articulately than that. That fucking writes, man. So there you go, Willie. Don't even question it anymore.
all right. That's why I love having
All
Mike
right.
around. He's just like
I
he's like our
know.
go-to resource.
Fucking writes, man. And he's our hype man.
Definitely the hype man.
It's like the Flavor Flav.
Oh boy, I gotta start wearing a clock around my neck.
11:11. You bet.
No, you gotta wear
Well, I guess
you gotta wear like a
yeah, I
printed
kind of
Van Gogh
set
or something
myself up
weird.
for that damn one. Yeah, no, no. What'd you say? I gotta cut my ears off.
I couldn't hear you. I already cut it off.
Oh God, I love you guys.
Oh, Jesus.
Too fun.
Yeah, I'm stoked. Miami's not too far away. I can't wait to get down there and breathe some of that fine sea air. It's going to be nice.
Yeah, catamarans and brunches,
And drinks.
golf cart tours.
Golf cart tour. That's right.
Excited.
Yeah, the golf cart tour should be totally fun. I'm down with that. That's going to
Dude,
be exciting to do.
I hear this like '80s synth wave kind of Latin beat like in the background on the wind. Like I can almost like just feel the soundtrack, and I don't even know if it's even been created yet. But it's gonna be phenomenal.
It sounds like it's up to you to create.
Well, no, I need the homies. We definitely need some Proteon and some J Burn and
Purse
like
beats.
I can only do I really can't do much other than just like talk and play little bass guitar and you know about it right now. But that'd be dope, dude. That'd be fun.
I was thinking about this, kind of just popped into my head as he said Proteon, because I remember a while back we asked, I think maybe it was Poke that asked if Proteon was going to be in Miami, and he's like, no, November is really super busy time of the year for me. And still, because we don't know what Proteon's day job is. And
Yeah.
it kind of made me wonder why would you be so busy in November?
Well,
Yeah. Well, he told us that like we wouldn't be able to guess it. I think on that
Yeah.
one space, like it
Yes.
was like totally like so like black and white.
Yeah.
That like we'd never figure
did
it
we guess
out.
corner?
Is there more?
That's pretty bad. I got to meet Proteon in New York, but I still have no indication.
Yeah.
But a super rad homie. Yeah, dude. Like, who knows? Like, it could be like
It's not. He's not a mall Santa, because it's not mall Santa time yet.
Come to the
yeah.
States, November
He's
1st.
not dead mouse. I don't think.
No, I don't think
Oh.
he is either.
But it could be. I don't know.
Yeah, because Dead Mouse is
No.
touring right now. So
But no, man, no, that's a fun. Holy smokes, that would be a cool little project game if he ever wanted to dox a piece of that part of his life. That'd be like fun as hell. Um, but yeah, just wondering, who is this cat?
yeah, 100%. Oh well, I guess we may or we may not ever know.
Like a Tootsie Roll pop. The world may never know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I know he was kind of taking on a whole lot of NFT projects on his own, between his soul drops and Swag Me Wine, and then he was kind of saying he needed to take a break a couple weeks ago in a Twitter chat, I guess. I don't know what you call it, but like a Twitter group chat, I guess. He was kind of saying like he needed to take a break because he was just doing too much. And then I see him doing all this work in progress stuff,
Yeah.
posts everywhere, and I'm like,
Oh shit!
take a break. I'm like, take a break, bro. Like,
Dude, he's Santa Claus. We just figured it out.
Yeah, maybe.
On his Santa Claus.
Yeah.
Maybe.
He's got to peace out for a minute and get the elves in the shop in order.
Yeah, I think so. I think it is. That's what I thought at first when he said that. So maybe we'll just go with that. We'll just start calling him we'll just start calling him Santa Claus.
There you go. I like it.
Until he finally gets frustrated with it and goes, Jesus fuck, guys, I'm an accountant. I work at a GameStop.
The district manager at GameStop, all right?
Yeah. Yeah. Fuck it. Oh man. Totally.
Maybe that's why he got an NFT. Maybe he's on the lead team of the GameStop NFT team.
Ooh.
Oh, shit, that would have been a good question to ask him.
Yeah.
Dude, my homie Crypto Palms in on that. That's a cool little project, I think.
Yeah, you got some inside dirt on that? Not for a recorded
much,
space,
man.
but just maybe something you could kick down while we're in Miami.
Not too much, but I'm excited about it. I feel like some real like kind of grassroots authentic vibes out of that project that isn't like manufactured or super planned or fronting.
Under the premise of not financial advice, how many shares you holding? Any?
GameStop?
Enough?
No, man. All my bags are unpacked almost.
All my bags are unpacked.
I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. Thankfully, I'm not holding any bags.
Yeah.
Fuck. Well, Willie, I think we probably could wrap this one up. I'm feeling. I guess we could always ask Mike Nash if he's okay with that as well. Since he's here.
Yeah. You got anything you wanna specifically talk about, Mike?
Oh man, well I appreciate that sentiment on all levels. Uh, Thanks, guys. No, I just, man, I love hanging out with you guys. I love meeting everybody even more than, dude. I've hung out with Studio Brooke in person, and I got to know her more, and had the opportunity to ask more questions and stuff that I've like been sitting on just in this space, dude. So I mean, that's like fucking awesome. Um, yeah, I don't know. I help out a whole bunch of peeps on the Tezos blockchain. Hit me up in my DMs. We've got uh, events happening all the time. We've got one happening right now. The 11/11 event. It's 11 Tez 11 is the hashtag for minting and tags. But I don't want to go too much into that. But you can.
No, actually, I we brought that up earlier. I wanted to talk to you about that a little bit actually because what is like the theme? Is there like a theme there or anything, or just whatever you want?
Yeah, I mean, I can. I mean, you got it. Sound like you're about ready to close up shop, man. I don't want to. I don't
No,
want to
no, go ahead. Nope,
keep
do
you
it,
too
man.
long.
Do it, man.
Um, uh, so, Ted's Town is a group that I'm part of. I'm on the leadership team, uh, and we host events. We have a community on Discord and Twitter and have in real life liaisons and translators for different languages around the world. I think we have 12 or 14 represented right now. But at any rate, so one of the big things that we do and what we've always done are these community-wide events, and it's one of the things that really helped me find my people and my collectors and my friends was to have an excuse and kind of permission to focus on like a task that was given to the community, and it helped me kind of break out of my shell.
Yeah, because
Um,
you told us you like to work kind of on prompts sometimes, right?
yeah, dude, I love, yeah, I like a good assignment, you
Yeah.
know. Um, and it kind of yeah definitely helps me like focus in and I think maybe other artists in the space would like the opportunity to use that either as a focus point or an excuse or permission to put your soul out there on the line for the world to see on an international stage, um, and and that's one of the things I really love about these events. And so last month we had a pretty heavy event um, in October um, that centered around endangered and threatened species. And for November, we do these relatively monthly, but yeah, I don't know, maybe 10 times a year. And so we've got November, which is the 11th month. Most of our events happen around the middle of the month, um, and we've got the anniversary of the first kind of Hickok Nunk platform um, changing of the guard. We've got uh, the 11 to me, the time, or just numerology in general, I come across numbers and patterns constantly, and it's kind of like a confirmation of flow, or that I'm on track, or good luck, or an opportunity to make a wish, which I've found a lot of the NFT community feels the same way. And it's kind of cool because we're international. So it's like happening around the clock. And it's a way that I've connected with some like kick ass artists. So I thought it, like all those considered, I thought it'd be cool to have like a fun, open event that wasn't too heavy, and it was a way for the artists in the space to kind of communicate a part of their journey or their life, or their creation, or their experience, um, to the rest of us, and get to know each other that much more, and just make those new connections, and I don't know, just vibe with like high energy uh, universe shit, man.
Okay, but last month what you said was it was endangered species and kind of animal thing, right? It was the
Yeah,
call of the wild, right?
Call of the Wild
So
was the name
that's
of the event. Yeah, and Tez Wild was the hashtag, and you could still search that for forever to see those pieces.
but that's all I'm getting at is that's like the theme of last month. So with 11/11,
This is
we're just kind of,
November, and it's just like like a great opportunity
but
for
no
me to
no
kind of interject myself into one of these events.
no real theme though, other than like the
No,
kind of
no,
numerology of
absolutely.
it, and
Yeah, or
if you
not
want
even
to
numerology.
incorporate that, but
Unification.
Just a synchronicity, or something that you
okay.
connect with, that you come across in your path and your journey and in your everyday life, uh, whatever it be. No, I think yeah, and good point. Um, no, 11/11 is the hashtag for the event, but it has those numbers, or that time, or any of it
There's no
has to
guidelines,
be a
if you will.
part. No, no,
Okay.
it's just basically an opportunity to communicate, like how you connect with your flow, and your creativity, and your connection with the space,
Okay.
or with your art. And yeah, absolutely.
I just want to make sure because I did have something in mind yesterday, and then I've actually just you talking about it just now. I've kind of expanded on that idea. I'm going to tell you again, it's going to be in my same style, but I do have something
Number
in
two
mind.
pencil style.
I just have to get it minted by tomorrow, not by the 11th, because of its meaning to me,
Oh,
if you will.
okay.
So,
All right. Well, that's a little alpha maybe there, huh?
Yeah.
eh,
Um,
Take
not really,
not really.
not
Number,
really, but
yeah.
kind of.
So not a number two pencil, or two number two pencils, or a number three pencil, or
Be a number
oh
11
man,
pencil. Come on,
yeah, it's.
guys.
yeah.
Be a number
Yeah.
11 pencil.
I love
In a
it.
pack of 11, dude.
Uh, okay, no, I mean that's what I want to know. I want to know all about it, and then, like I said, because I had I had an idea in mind yesterday. When I saw you tweet about it, we kind of there was a little thread there, um, and so I wanted to make sure that I was kind of within the guidelines, or if there were no guidelines.
Dude, no, seriously, that's a great question, because I was really like afraid that nobody would vibe, or like kind of understand, like where I was coming from, like wanting to get to know artists in this kind of way. And I've been blown away by what's already been submitted for this, dude. It's like holy smokes. It's just so fucking awesome, and I'm like really stoked about everything, and it's kind of like a confirmation for me, like okay, okay, so we're vibing, we're getting it, we're on the link, and yeah, like I mean, some of the submissions it came in today, and some of the artists that have participated and that are sharing and promoting and tweeting, and it's like holy shit, like this is fucking rad, man.
Cool.
That's
Yeah,
cool.
can't wait to look at some of them. I gotta draw mine first though, so I don't like bleed any ideas. Like a comedian won't listen to other people's stand-up sets. I don't want it influencing me right now.
So I won't tell you what I'm going to draw right now. No, just kidding. Just kidding. Cool.
Yeah.
Dude, I love it. I can't wait. No, um, that yeah, rock, rock and roll, man.
Oh, you know what I thought about yesterday? Fucking was party horns. Party horns. It popped into my head. I was like, "Wee, party horns."
Oh yeah, like
Remember?
party. Yeah, yeah, dude. No, yeah, I like passed this person on the street, and
Yeah.
and I just like gave him like I don't know, the rock and roll. It could be like a Texas Longhorn, you know what I'm talking about? Yeah, and she was
Absolutely.
like, like party horns, like, oh yeah, you got your party horns or party fingers or whatever. It's like, holy shit, I didn't know that was like a signal for an interaction. Yeah, that was great.
Only in Miami.
And only in Texas is what I thought.
Yeah.
Then it's hook 'em horns. Different though.
Yeah, true that.
Right.
We get educated on this show sometimes.
Sometimes.
You always learn a little something.
Sometimes we go into some deep dives.
Yeah. Man, our giveaway tonight, whoever wins that tomorrow is going to be excited. That's a great GM. I love that little guy.
Yeah, the Chili Preston.
Yeah. It's got a 13 Tez floor right now.
Does it really?
Yeah.
It was like a 0.1 or 0.5 Tez.
Yeah,
right?
whatever it was. Yeah.
Love it. They say it's a fucking bear market.
No.
Not anywhere I'm at.
Not if you're buying little Pepe's Holden McDonald's coffees by Chili Preston.
Fucking A.
Absolutely. Cool, man. Well, any other orders of business there, Mr. Willie?
I did have something just now that was going to be the last thing I was going to have. And it wasn't going to be... Oh, I was going to say, because Jen's the only one left in this space that's an artist, join our label, not our label contest. Join that too. Join our Dow token contest. That wasn't what I was going to say, though.
It's pinned up at the top. It's good to see that Telos came to rock in with us tonight. Telos hasn't been around for a couple weeks. I don't think. Maybe.
I haven't seen him in a couple of weeks. Daddy V always down there, always hanging out.
Butternut was in here again tonight.
I saw that. I wanted to say something about 4 laser boobs when Brooke was talking about collecting.
Oh yeah.
And then it just the conversation just moved too far away from that too quick, and I was just like, nah, I'm not going to go backwards to that. It's not that funny.
Hey, I had to for my laying on the hood, waiting for the right guy to walk by or whatever joke. Sometimes you just gotta go. You gotta go back into the archives.
Yeah.
That was really enjoyable, man. It was everything and more that I expected. It was great stuff. She's a great lady, and I could listen to her for hours. Well, I guess I just did, didn't I?
Yeah, we just did.
Yeah, she was awesome, for sure.
Just did. That's all I got for tonight, I think. I had something to say about the golf cart last week, but I don't remember what that was. That was last week. So, no, I don't remember.
That's in the past, man.
Yeah, we're moving forward around here.
Yeah. No golf cart. No golf cart talk up here now. We need snowmobiles.
There sleds.
Yeah.
He got some golf carts waiting down in Miami to tour the walls.
We
Hell
do.
yeah.
We do.
Hell yeah. I can't wait.
And then I'm gonna follow Brooke around town because I know she's gonna find all the good graffiti that's not on the tour,
That's right. True that, right?
right?
It's amazing the eye that she has for that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you've trained yourself for 20 years.
Yeah.
Trained your eye, and it looks effortless. Yeah, I'm trying to stay there.
100%.
Even though, like she said, I'm out there 6-8 hours in the day. You see one picture. Oh, wow. Yeah, it looks effortless stuff.
Yeah. I was just
Beautiful
thinking.
stuff, man.
Yeah. I was just looking at Coinbase here, just checking out what Tez is worth right now, $1.13.
Unless you're looking at buying right now, I don't think I would look.
No. Well, I don't have anything else. I don't have any big investments. All buying is about all I do. Fuck. Right on. All right. Well, I think we can say goodnight at this point in time because, well, I want to say goodnight.
Yeah, I know you're not feeling great still. Hope you get better. You're 100% by next week. What do we got coming up next week? Anything?
I don't know.
Are we kind of? Oh, we're Pop Labs is coming back next week.
Oh, that's right, Pop Lad. Yes.
He wants to come back and tell us all about what's going on.
That's right. And
catch us up.
And Howie, we're going to be speaking a little bit with Howie Angler too, right?
Yeah, Tezos Art Collective.
Tezos Art Collective. Right.
He's got some new things going, so we're gonna be just kind of catching back up. So
yeah, I'm really actually. This is going to be like
artists have some stuff they want to pop in with, some catch up, and come along.
Yeah, that's going to be kind of cool because we haven't really done that yet. I mean, I guess we really never had an artist back on again, have we? Other than Mike Nash, but that doesn't count because he's part of the clan. He's one of us. Of us.
We've never like specifically had anybody back on to tell us more about what's going on.
Yeah.
we just
cool.
We just had artists pop in and hang out and say hi and give us all their beautiful insight on the art world like Mike Nash does.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, I'm stoked to hear from Pop again next week. 100%. It's been a minute since we've heard from him.
Yeah, since we heard from him, he's been to New York in the RV, lived in a state park for a little while, for a couple of weeks or a month or two, living in the RV
as a caretaker.
And now he's like made a present. So I gotta hear all about the RV trip.
Absolutely. 100%.
It's been a long one, so
that's next week.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
It's gonna be a banger.
Week after that, I'm pretty sure like 95% we have somebody who everyone's gonna enjoy. I love him. Oh, giving away more. I meant to say them. Guess I gave away it's a him.
Maybe, or you could have been lying. Could have been lying.
Knows?
Yeah.
I love their take on things and their outlook on the world, and it's just makes me smile every day. Especially when you do see things like OpenSea taking away royalties. And then just the comedic effect after. So love it. Can't wait. Really excited about that one. Just got like half a sentence away from him confirming.
Awesome. Well, we'll all be listening and waiting. Yeah, so we got good spaces coming up as per usual. 100%. Mike Nash, thanks for hanging out with us tonight, brother. As always.
Yeah, thanks, guys, man. This is always a blast. I look forward to it. I really appreciate you guys letting me come in and just let my hair down and not expecting too much. And like I don't know if I'm invited. I'm like that friend that just kind of shows up and knows how to get in the garage. And
No, you're
but you
definitely
haven't
invited.
kicked me out yet.
I don't wait for you to ask to speak anymore. I just invite you up. I'm like, come on, get your ass up here.
Yeah, no, we wouldn't invite you up to speak,
Yeah.
man. Absolutely, brother. We love having you. The
Yeah,
questions and the things that you come up with, dude, the conversation that you chime in with, dude, it's all good. We love having you here for sure.
always love your little different perspective on everything. Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, sir. Good
All right,
stuff.
Pitts, sign us out.
All right. Thanks for coming, everybody. Hope to see you all next week. And make sure you come back, follow each other, and take care of yourselves and each other. Good night, Willie. Good night, Mike Nash. Peace out, y'all. Bye.